Hey everybody. Hey Krasner. Hey Grognosh. First before Krasner. You have changed reality. All right, so Monday. We have not written anything for Monday. I think we need to start with tenets and then the PRs and then I don't even know what. But yeah, Adam wants to release another alpha version of Skeleseller by the end of the month. As a result, there are a million little things to do. He's going to do roughly 100,000 of them today. All right, whatever. So happy Monday. Going to start this the way we start every Monday with tenant review. And it's been quite a while since we've done this because of the vacation trip. What was that? What was that? Canor, thanks for resubbing. Happy 1 year subiversary. I appreciate it. Actually, you know what? Let me move this over here and this over here. Am I first or what? Yes, you're always first. Crow's permanent first. That's how people know you're around here. Post-stream to-dos. Actually, I feel like I've only really been adding a lot of random organization tasks for Skeleseller, and I kind of want to do a one-off stream to tackle all of those. I.e., it's not that bad. However, the bigger problem is that I don't feel like I've been using my Tuesdays and Thursdays well. I think part of that is that I'm still getting back into the swing of things. Yeah. Hey, NSO, good morning. Make it synced as well. Make it read only, const. Put every protection charm we have on these things. All right, entire things about the journey. So do I feel like this has been sustainable? Yeah. I think this is going well. I don't think there's too much else to say. Bricklaying, I'm glad this is a tenant because I keep struggling with this. It's like I want to put more time into Skeleseller, but I also feel like there's not a ton of interest in the upcoming tasks. So that's what this tenant is for. It's top of mind more often nowadays. So I'm hoping that we can work through the difficult / boring tasks. All right, and successes. What successes have we had recently? I've only been back for a couple days, but I haven't done tenant reviews since the 12th, but I guess there have only been 4 streams. Items dropping on the ground. New player experience. Honestly, I think the biggest success is I'm actually acting on player feedback and prioritizing work as a result, certain work as a result. This proves that I learned at least something from Botland. Hey, Blades of Doom, welcome back. I think I first saw you on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Hard to say for sure. Yes. Easy to say for sure. Yeah. All right, well, that's it for tenant review. I think in general, things are going well. I last did this on the 12th, like I said, because that was before my vacation. And you can see there's a giant gap between these 2 rows. So it was 2 weeks exactly. And I was a little bit sick when I got back, but I don't think it was too bad. Like, I don't think it changed the outcome of the work I was doing. Every once in a while, I'm so sick that I can't really think. And then that definitely changes the outcome of the work that I do. So yeah, I think I've got a good grip on everything right now. And so let's get to work, I guess. Yeah. All right, so that's done. Tenants done. Friday done. PRs for both repos. I think we're gonna, yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Let's start with the Jump Royale PR. Yeah, UI update. Okay. Covering the names in the results screen. Didn't change the game overlay though. Data font settings. I think I read all of this. I think responses would probably be below this. Yeah. Below the result. Not really sure about the wording. Change it to your liking. Spawn 3 bots with the commands in their names. Did I comment on something here? I think I just wanted to use a rich text label. I'm just going to write this down for colors. Yeah. Hopefully I don't forget this. So this is not actually for Skeleseller. This is for Jump Royale, but I'm hoping that this doesn't take so long to review. And I already looked through this once. So now we just need to look at the changes since last time. How do we do that? Changes since your last review. I can't do that because I didn't make a review. So I need to figure out which commit I last looked at, which was this one, 2A03. 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 There you are. Okay. Do you have experience with project management, or did you learn as you went? I wouldn't say I've ever been a project manager, or at least not officially as my title, but I have managed projects. So I think that probably answers your question, but yeah, it's kind of learn as you went kind of thing. I think I'm generally pretty organized. I think what's tough, and a lot of people end up doing this, but acting as both a manager and an individual contributor or IC. So in my case, like manager and actually doing dev work. I think that's challenging because you are switching context when you do those things. And honestly, it has been a little bit of a challenge, I would say, even for Skeleseller. There is one other dev working on this, and that's Darkstorm. And there's like a way I might do things, and then there's a way I would delegate those things. And they just take different parts of my brain, I feel. Anyway, that's not entirely about project management, but it's, I think, part of it. Hey, Owen. Hey, Phil. Hey, APX. Can't multitasking when I'm learning. And I think so there's no need for a manager to do IC work, the individual contributor work, like dev work. There are companies where you're just a manager. You're just managing people. And you'll rarely find that in a very, very small team or a very small company, because you just kind of have to fill all the different roles that exist. And you'll see that a lot in the upcoming months for this game. Like the majority of what I do, probably 90% on stream is dev stuff, but that's going to have to start shifting to marketing, like, I don't know, trailer creation, music stuff that we have to do, just coming up with art direction. I don't know. There's like a million other things. And we're going to change these percentages in the next few months. Struggling with organizing my personal projects. In what way exactly? Is it hard for you to like find the time to work on them? Is it just that they accumulate too much complexity as you build them up? Ellipse Gamer. Do everything I can not to write code for work these days. Yeah, and I think for work it's a little bit different too, because like you have the resources of the company, assuming your work is you're working for somebody else. Like for me, if this were an established company, I could just manage people, right? I don't need to worry about how money's coming in, maybe. Well, it depends on what level manager I am, I guess. Do you think having a mustache is required for tech jobs with company matching? Yes. Yeah, I think that's obvious though. That's why you only see people with mustaches getting hired. Use GitHub projects for my game dev learning, but I don't think I'm effective with it. So here's what I would say. Maybe it's not helpful for you, and maybe you don't actually need it too much. I think just think of what's the bare minimum that you have to do, which is just like write stuff down that you think you'll forget. That's the bare minimum. Then at some point, the problem will be that this becomes a sprawling list and it's hard to maintain. And in that case, then you have a different bare minimum, which is now you need to apply some organization to it. That organization may not be best in a sort of Kanban board. Hey, Matt. Lack of experience in the complexity of what I want to do. Yeah, so biggest piece of advice I can give for this is cut down the scope of any given project you have. So let's say your real goal is, I don't know, make the next Zelda. Instead, the new goal should be something like make one system from Zelda, or like simplify the game entirely and make that new game. Something along those lines. Because otherwise, I think what happens is you get to the point where the work sort of catches up with the complexity, and then you feel demotivated on that project. And now every time you think about the project, you're like, oh, I don't want to figure that out. I don't want to do that stuff. And if you're trying to learn, the best way you can learn is just by doing something. So making sure that you're doing something is pretty important. And that's why I think restructuring your goals is pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, CTO/founder. Yeah. Then it's slightly different. Hey, Dr. Larry. Yeah. By the way, please do not segment messages. I say this to everybody when they eventually segment messages, and I mean that in a very nice way. So don't worry about it. But yeah, try to type things as one message. Okay, so let's go back to this. I just need to review the things that changed. And the tile set here changed. I'm not concerned about that. Wait, these things didn't change. Did I pick the wrong commit? Maybe this is the one I meant to pick? Yeah, that's probably what I meant to pick. Okay. Hey, Olivia. Are you using Obsidian for taking notes? I use several different things for taking notes. I use Obsidian for my more sort of permanent notes. So for example, if you go to notes.adamlearns.com, you'll see all of those. So for example, I've been spending a lot of time in Godot. So I've taken a lot more Godot notes lately. So these are all based on Obsidian, or like they come from Obsidian. Then I use Google Docs for my sort of personal/quick stuff. You also have access to this. And then I use GitHub projects and GitHub for some of the more like work specific stuff. Could end up being very good marketing and a growth method. It could be, I know. I just, it's just one other thing. And the way I look at it is, if I want to spend time doing one other thing, I should probably work more on Skeleseller. This is probably just a shortcoming that I have, where I feel like I can't just keep expanding into different content realms. And other content creators are good at managing that stuff. Like, you need to have a lot of irons in the fire. And I'm like, no, my iron is going to be Skeleseller. And I'm going to work on like mentoring and interviewing and stuff. But I do agree with you. I think it would be a good idea. I'll write it down. I should consider it at least. Context, I was just explaining about project management and how hobby projects shouldn't be too complex so that you don't get demotivated. Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing too is if I were asked these like once every hour, then I'd probably be more likely to convert it into a YouTube video. But at the very least, you know what I should do? At the very least, maybe just add this sort of thing to my video ideas note. Yeah. Well, I'm not saying your home project can't be complex. I'm saying that if you're a new coder, then it probably shouldn't be complex, because the odds of you getting stuck at some point are much higher. And I think just having a project is what motivates people to overcome some of those barriers. But if you were like, you know, I don't know how to code at all, I'm gonna go make Facebook, that's just a mistake, I think. I don't think that's a good idea. Do you know there was a free or paid plan? There are AI tools that can take in a video segment and convert it to a YouTube Shorts video for you. Do you know of any of those? So massive distributed simulations out for a brand new coder? Yes, like 100%. I think that's just a bad idea. I think if you've got years of experience, it's like there's no project that's out of the question. But I think this is, by the way, this isn't just coding. It's like, let's say you start learning violin and you're like, I'm gonna go play a violin concerto. It's like, you probably won't. And then you'll probably feel like this is impossible. I mean, right? Like, what good does that do? And I guess you could learn a little bit, but it's probably not as much as you learn by picking something kind of like experience appropriate. Personal website to store portfolio projects when I continue making games for fun. Yeah, games as a career is very different from games as a hobby. I feel like coding as a career isn't very different from coding as a hobby, but for games it kind of is. There's different pressures, deadlines, like, yeah, people pulling you in different directions. Okay, what's weird here is I looked at this. What am I? Man, I think I don't understand what I'm doing right now. Okay, that's why I don't understand what I'm doing. It's hold shift and click to select a range. I thought I was selecting everything since that commit. Shift and click is not selecting a range. What am I? What? How do you use this UI? Oh, there we go. Now how do I scroll down? I can't scroll because I'm holding shift. The weirdest thing. How are you supposed to use this? I am so confused. I just want to select from here all the way to the top. And I don't know how to do that. It lets me start the selection. It just doesn't let me finish it. All right, whatever. I don't know. Oh wait, can I? No. Well, I guess I could just do this. I could just reform the URL. Okay, let's do that. Okay. I should have thought about that. Couldn't find that commit. Are you kidding me? What am I doing? What am I doing? What in the world? How could this possibly be wrong? Maybe I need to pick the commit before this one? All right, I don't know. I give up. Just review everything. Learning such a rabbit hole. I'm going through DSA to firm my foundations. Decided to use CPP because I've always been on higher level languages. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I think C++ in particular has changed so much since its inception. Almost to the point where I feel like there's just a whole chunk of the language you shouldn't use. Captions, which I used before and seems to do the job well. It creates captions for you and you add your own music soundtrack. I see. Okay. I should write that down. There's an AI app called Captions, which can automatically caption your videos. All right, well, unfortunately, what this means now is I've got to review everything, including the stuff I already reviewed. Also, I wanted to delete some of the old graphics. Okay, yeah. So how does this work? Position instruction bots above the lobby. Modified command handler logic portion for adding players, except we're not adding an actual player, but a dummy jumper. Interesting. Jump, flash player name. Then wait for 2 seconds. The bots could have already been freed at this point. Also, this function could infinitely recurse, although I know that there's a timer limiting this. And that means that the call stack is just going to keep increasing. Yeah, queue free. I think this is a problem. Has game started? We need to check here if the game has started again. All right, I'll just pull this in and I'll start making some changes. Hope the PR didn't make a bigger conflict. Try to match the previous one. I will take a look. I'm not sure where we're going to stand with this. GHPR list, GHPR checkout 95. Hey, Free Technic. No, sure, APX, yeah. That would be great, thanks. All right, do I have any player save data? I do, right? Yes, so we're gonna say save player data. Oh, except for this is gonna be on the wrong branch, right? Oh, because I had changes, yeah, okay. So commit that, I don't care about this stuff. Oh my God. I'm doing such stupid stuff right now. I meant to just check in the one file. I don't know how all these things got staged. There. Okay, now delete these. And now check out. Actually, I could push what I did. Shouldn't make a difference. It's just a save file. Shouldn't have any changes. Yeah, your first crypto coin this weekend. Which one? Takes like an hour to get moving. I mean, I'm just reviewing a PR right now. I think that's probably slightly easier to get into. Although I also think part of it is just having the stream really helps. The one you get from running dungeons. Oh. I see. that kind of crypto coin. Yeah. Yeah, part of the sort of meta of this game is it's hard to know, should you be saving those or should you be spending them? And after playing for long enough now, I kind of have an answer. I'm not going to spoil it, although it's a very minor spoiler. Okay, so Arena, we got to go look at that. Arena has games started. So we got to put a call there as well, because nothing's going to change this otherwise. The game may have started since we last checked. Honestly, I don't think I would probably do things this way. Let me think about this. Yeah, I think I would encapsulate this into a special kind of bot. But I am not gonna change the code around for this too much. So the only reason why this may not hold true is because of your accrual rate versus the like time limits you have. So for example, the shop starts with 150 coins. I'm talking about something, I'm not going to explain any context of anything I'm saying right now, but the shop has 150 coins and it resets like every 12 hours. So if you have more things to sell than they have coins, then you can't actually use them. Okay, so we changed this one thing. What else? Okay, free all the helper bots. This stuff is fine. Represents a fake player. They'll be jumping on its own to visualize the jumping instructions. So what is that used for, instruction bot? It's a record, but where does it get used? I see. Templates for forming this. I mean, I guess since this is only ever used here, we don't even need this to be a member variable. You can always throw infinite things into the cauldron. Yeah. Feels like I shouldn't be playing unless I have a hero in the dungeon that needs mind power. Yeah. Anyway, this whole thing is just wild. Yeah. But I've been having fun. I've played for too many hours this year. Okay, lobby timer, number of players. The readme change. Okay, so let's launch this. Let's just reuse the Godot instance we already have open. Quit to project list. So again, we're working on Jump Royale right now, which is not what I indicated in the today command or anything, but I don't think this should take too long. And I'm going to launch this, but we're not going to actually play. I just want to see what the starting screen looks like. Big games coming out you want to play. You can always come back to this. It's, I think, meant to be played over the course of years. Okay, I guess the only issue that would happen here is that they might get stuck on a platform, but in general, I think this is good. We'd probably want to make their names not fade out. Okay, so let's take a screenshot of this, and then let's quit out of the game. And then I want to go change some of these things. So let's see. How do you do text color and a rich text label? Color. I think it's just color. Yeah, color. And what is it? Color equals. Okay, let's look up a BB code guide. Although I could just load up the Skeleseller code. Yeah, here it is. Just color equals blue or something. All right, so we're going to copy paste this over to here. We're gonna say color equals blue, and then slash color. So that's it. And now let's go change the label to be a rich text label. Oh, it already is. Oh, well then that should immediately work, right? What game is this referring to? A game called Nonogram's Katana. Yeah, okay. So now we just, instead of making it dark blue, we need to make it some kind of light blue, which I don't know what colors we even get access to. So let's just test things out. Color equals what, cyan? Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. Just needed to make sure that cyan was a color we could actually use. There is one blue background. I think it should be fine. There's still an outline around the text. So as long as the contrast between the inside and the outline is fine, then I think we're good. Okay, this one, we're just gonna put... Oh, wait a second. They all have name colors already, so I don't even need to do this. I guess just for the ore being in black and not in cyan. This is going to be so much better for new players because there won't be like a million different things to read. All right, let's take a look at that. And then I want to take a screenshot of this. There. Okay, next, let's look at the screenshot and see if this is clear enough from here. So type join to play, type JR for more instructions. All right, let's search for jump angles. This is in lobby overlay. Lobby overlay, here it is. All right, we can make this a little bit nicer too. Let's do change to rich text label, BB code enabled. And do color equals cyan. There. Why did that not work? What? Oh, I see. Fit content needs to be set. Ah, darn it. Now we need the same we need the same font settings. Label settings, lobby label. This has the font, the outline, the shadow. Yeah. So can I just copy this? Copy. Over to here. Do you not set font settings the same way? There has to be a thing for this. I don't know where you do that. What do you use for project tracking? Task list, to-do list? I remember you using something and I liked it. I think what you're thinking of from a while ago is something called either plain tasks or to-do plus. But I don't use that anymore. I now use GitHub projects and, well, mostly GitHub projects, I guess, and GitHub issues. So this is probably what you were used to seeing. Is there a screenshot of it? Yeah, this. Because this is nice. I did like this. And I used it really extensively for like 4 or 5 years. But the problem is that I think that's only really good for one person's to-do list. And if you're trying to manage a team or a set of tasks that anyone could get, then I think you probably want to use some sort of shared solution. And a Kanban board is a good way of doing that. Check the end result screen if the font for you is really crisp. Earlier was super blurry for the top 3 players. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Although maybe we could just look at it here. Now, how do we get this looking good? Like this name has an outline around it. Oh, it's a theme thing? Jumper.tres. Does this tweak all of that? Yeah, it does. All right. So we got to make a theme for this, I guess. New theme. And I got to go change all the font stuff. Rich text label. Outline, shadow. Yeah, okay, so we got to copy this stuff. So the shadow color, copy value, and paste it over here. What am I doing? I never know how this works completely. You can't paste in here? Huh. Paste value, there we go. Okay, so now it has a shadow. Now we need the right font size and everything. Size is set to 25. Where is font size? There are bold font size and everything here. I want normal font size, just set this to 25. Nice. Okay. We're getting there. Now we need the shadow offset and size. They're all set to 2. Shadow offset, here it is. 2. And the size, 2. Okay, so this text should look exactly the same now, right? Same color, same shadow size, offset. Yeah, nice. So now we need to save this theme. Save as, where do we save the other theme? T-res, jumper.tres, jumper out resources. Okay, let's save it in there. All right, rich text label theme. And then we want to duplicate this. You can't do that. There. And then copy all the text over to here. And then delete this. Okay, now we can change this around a little bit. In fact, I don't even think we needed 2 different labels for this. This all could have been the same thing. Yeah, you know what? Let's just make it all the same thing then. No reason to have a difference, right? Could just call it instructions. So type join to play. Type color equals cyan JR for more information. Delete this line. How to jump. Color equals cyan. So J. I'm not sure how I want to indicate this. Maybe in yellow. -90 to color equals yellow 90. Something like that. And then we just put yeah. Okay. Jump with, I'll just have this one command. Yeah. Type join to play. Type JR for more instructions. Let's rearrange this too, so it looks like this. Then jump with probably better as 2 lines. And I'll write in parentheses, color equals gray. See example jumpers below. Something like that. I'd leave the R and L in. I think that there are enough extra things, or I want to keep this incredibly brief. And if people do want to discover more, then they have a way to discover more. The other thing too is there's going to be the bot there who's jumping. So if they just look at the bot, they'll be like, oh, I could just type R45, for example. Yeah. Okay, anyway, let's take a screenshot of this and see if this looks good. Oh, and then I can apparently see the end screen by doing this. Yeah, it is a little blurry. Also, the whole font thing is messed up. I guess I could change that too really fast. We would just change the what are all the scaling settings of this? Viewport, fractional, keep the aspect ratio. Okay, so then all we need to do is set the right texture filter, set to inherit, set to linear. Okay, and then we also need the whole multi whatever channel thing that it's called. Yeah, this is on. It probably doesn't have a high enough what's it called? I don't know what it's called, but I put a bunch of things here for it. Yeah, here it is. MSDF size. Yeah, at 48 it looked bad, so we need to change that somehow. Font. There is no custom font set. There's some way to do this. MSDF. It's under GUI theme, but I don't see it here. Oh, maybe it's an advanced setting? No. How do you do this for the built-in font? Huh. I only know how to do this for a non-built-in font. Godot change MSDF for built-in font. Oh man, I don't know if this is going to be easy to do. To enable it for a given font, select it in the file system doc. But how do we do it for the default one? Huh. I don't know if that's possible. Oh wait, we have a font in here. Does that mean we're actually using it? No, it's just an empty folder. Yeah, I don't know how we would set that up then. Maybe it's an issue on their GitHub. MSDF built-in font. Default font. Ah, wait, this? This is not it. Maybe it's in the font theme? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is, yeah, I don't know where we do this. Well, we have label settings here. Do we have anything we can set for that? No. All right, I'm not going to worry about this too much right now. I think we need to use a custom font. And it's not even that hard to implement a custom font, but I think we're just going to file that as a task for later. File JR tasks. Delete. Didn't I write this down somewhere? No. Delete blue.png, pink.png, etc. since they're unused. And use a Google font. And make sure to set the MSDF size. Hey Caleb, I'm doing well. I am not working on Skeleseller right now though, and I wanted this to be faster than it is currently taking, so I want to kind of skip through this. Anyway, here's the screenshot we ended up with. So type join to play, jump with J, -90 to 90, see example jumpers below. Type JR for more instructions. Yeah, I think this is good. And I think the only other thing I'm going to change here is the C example jumpers below will be on the next line. Okay, there, that's it. We're checking this in. So I don't want to change this stuff. Did I change anything in the project settings, or is this just the auto upgrade? Just the auto upgrade. So we do want this tileset.tres somehow changed. It deleted a bunch of stuff that I guess wasn't necessary, but that's only because the new project setting allows that to happen. So we need to keep that for now. Lobby overlay, and then the arena itself. Yeah, so this should be checked in on its own. Prevent accessing deleted bots. And then everything else here can be checked in. Make instructions clearer. I cut down on the verbosity and added colors. I think that's it. Yeah. Okay, now we need to push that back to this. Except for, hang on, get remote-v. We don't have a, no, it's called Darkstorm Origin. Darkstorm Origin UI update. All right, that should have updated the PR. And then we can merge this. There should be 47 commits. Why 48? Oh yeah, because I made 2. Yep, cool. All right, now we merge this. Some checks haven't completed. Okie doke, let's wait. Was there anything else I wanted to do with this? I think I wrote some things down here. Yeah, nothing super important. This should fix the blurriness at the end of the game. All right, this is almost done. I think this will help people get into the game. Because right now, actually, I probably can't even show you what happens right now, although probably a lot of you are used to it. But right now, there's a lot of information, I think, and no indication of how to get more information if you want it. Not sure this applies to all of them. Some text gets blurry. When you say non-GPU machines, what do you mean? Like a GPU, not a discrete GPU, I guess. All right, so now this has been merged. Now we need to do GSM. And it says we'd have changes here. So just revert them all, I guess. Discard all 4 files. Perfect. Then we try this. And it should be good. All right, discard local changes and hit the play button. Text was actually blurry, but not on my home machine. I think it should all be fixed with a scaling factor of 1, but I'm not positive. Okay, this looks like it's good. Yeah. Great. That's it. Let's leave it at that. Now let's go back to Skeleseller. All right, and thank you for working on that, Darkstorm. All right, next, PRs for the other repo. Let's go take a look. You'll be able to join soon, Mr. Ray Ray. I'm going to spend another like 15 minutes and then probably take a break. CS project update by Godot kept popping up every time you open the project. It was a bit annoying. We can switch the version as nothing seems to break so far after changing the editor to the latest 4.3.0. Wait, 4.3.0? I'm using RC1 though. Are you on, what's your version? Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Where's Godot? Darkstorm, what's your version of Godot? Because I think this might be popping up for you because you're not using the same version as me. And what version do they even push on their page? It's the new one with yeah. But what's your like specific version number? If you go to About Godot, do you have RC1 or no? What are they pushing over here? 4.3 stable. Maybe I should switch to stable then. Where is Mac? 4.3, yeah, stable. All downloads. No, I don't want it. I already downloaded faster than I could stop it. Okay, well, whatever. See latest preview builds. What do they have? 4.4-dev1. Hey, what'd you just say to me? Happy 5/6 of a year. Thank you for the resub. I hope it's going well. It says 4.3.stable.mono.official. Okay, yeah, I see. Because I had modified, let's close out of all this stuff. I had modified the README. Oh, I don't expect you to actually take a look at this, but to say the version we use is referencing game.csproj, and it's currently RC1. I could upgrade to stable. Is it technically an upgrade? Release candidate should be before stable, right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. All right, so I should have already just downloaded it, right? This is 4.3-stable. And if I just put this in applications, it should work. Actually, before I do that, whoa. Before I do that, let's quit out of this. Replace. And now when I load it, well, for one, it should say you downloaded this from the internet, right? Yes. So open it. And then I should get a dialog saying to upgrade the project. I did not. Does mine report the same thing? 4.3 stable mono official. Yeah, weird. I don't get that dialog. Oh, it just changed this. Huh. I didn't check this out, right? No, I didn't. Yeah, I'm on main. And get log. What is in my log? Fix bug. I might not have pushed that stuff. Not that that matters. Well, anyway, okay. I guess we can accept this. 4.3.0. Yeah. All right. So merge and cross this off the list. Now let's go check that out. Oh, that's not going to work because of this stuff, right? Yeah. Revert. None of this should matter. I did have one change, but we got to make that again. Okay, so now we should be on exactly the same code here. So I learned something over the weekend. This is, we're finally getting into the swing of things. So, oh, I need to restart this, don't I? Let's just restart the whole thing. I sent Ski a copy of the newest Skeleseller, and I had the scaling factor set to 2, and Ski reported a shocking problem. The game looked like this on a 1080p monitor. So like the battle window's taking up more than half the screen. I can't say I fully understand this. Because when I have a scaling factor of 2, I'm man, okay, here's the confusing thing. I am technically on a 4K monitor that's set to 1080p. So it's half the resolution that it could output. And that is just super confusing every time. Oh wait, I have a 1080p monitor though. What if I just set the scaling factor to 2 and started it there? You wouldn't be able to see this because it's the monitor I'm not streaming from, but I just want to test this quickly. So center of primary screen, center of other screen. What if I do that? It should launch over there. It didn't? Why did... That's not other screen. That's the primary screen. What? Did it just ignore that setting? Huh, yeah. Center of screen with mouse pointer then. Let's try that. It can't possibly confuse that, right? No, it's still launching over there. I don't think these settings work. I mean, this is also not super important, but it's strange. So revert this to what it was, I guess. Initial screen. This is the monitor, right? Main window initial screen. This is only used if initial position type is set to other screen center. No, this isn't going to matter. All right, well, whatever. If I start the game, I should just be able to drag it over there. But I don't think it's going to look drastically different. No, it doesn't. It looks exact. Yeah, why is this the case? I don't understand this, but I think... Okay, so here's the screenshot I took. This is on Mac, though. Here's the screenshot Ski took. Ski was on a 1080p monitor. Why does this look so scaled up, though? Planning using Trischool, my OS. Oh, neat. Yeah, I'm excited for you too. I think it's great to have one of those. I looked up the thermal design power of your machine that you're getting. I think it's 65 watts. Someone either used or didn't use shift. What are you talking about, Geek? And how about foldable battles? Well, okay, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we set the scaling factor to 1. So this, which I think we have to do for a couple of different reasons. I think it'll make the font crisper on everything. So now we're looking at more of the game world. Now all the UI is tiny, and now we can fit 6 battles if we wanted to. So let me do something. Engage privacy mode. Yeah, let me take a look at something really fast. Okay. All right, so if I up this to the... Oh man, this is even tinier. Yeah, this is like impossible to see now. I can't zoom in yet because I haven't done this. We probably do need to increase the maximum zoom size. Huh. Also, this is broken. Oh, I think this is broken because of changing the resolution mid-gameplay. Oh, so confusing. Like, this all looks fine. Yeah, the text is really tiny. We're probably going to need a UI scale. But then the battles are really tiny as well. Which I think we're just going to need to scale these up by 2x. Oh, I see, Geek. Do you sell the resolution table? Is it worth checking the other ones? The other one should be fine. Like any size here. This is 4x3, right? Yeah, although I need to do this when the game hasn't launched yet. So we're in what, 1600 by 900? Yeah. We need to scale these up by 2x. I meant the Steam thing. The table was like 77% 1080p, then like 20% 4K, and then nothing else had more than 3% or so. So I'm not really concerned about the small screens so much since they total up to maybe 7%. Kept going up each generation of Intel processors, so they started going up in price. Yeah, I think the price you got it for is really good. And I think it'll be more than capable for any things you want to do with it. Hey, Smo. Okay, let's set this back to this. And then I want to figure out... So, question. Why does Ski's picture of a 1080p display on Windows look twice as big as it should? Is it a Windows thing? Is it something about my monitor? Or is it an exported build thing? I don't know the answer to this. So I don't even know how we find out. But I'm kind of leaning toward a few things. Set scale factor to 1. Zoom in to 2x on battles. Change maximum zoom for the game to like 8 or 16x based on the viewport size. And add options for a UI scale. Yeah, and yeah. What's OVH? Oh, a site. I see. I was gonna say also power should be different, but you shouldn't care about power if it's a cloud machine. Is it platform dependent? It shouldn't be. The setting that we're using is this. It's just scale, and it's inside window, and it's inside the engine. There's no like Linux scale or Windows scale. Oh yeah, Geek, that is a good idea. Also, WebSockets are great. Wait, yeah, what? You shouldn't hate yourself for that. I was gonna say if you look at the where's the repo for this? Yeah. If you look at my repo, it's got, I guess it's not using WebSockets, never mind. Or if it is, it's using it through the Twitch library. So what would cause this? And if Ski had any scaling, then that could explain it, but I think Ski would have commented on that. Also, we shared a video and it didn't look like there was scaling. Check the game on my work PC. This is with it set to 1, you said? Oh, maybe it has to do with Retina displays? Yeah. So if I set this to 2, wait, no, there's another issue we have here. We pretty much need to do this. Ski said the font looked bad at 2. Yeah, so if I set this to 2, it looks kind of fine other than the text. And the text isn't unclear, it's just not as good as it could be. Effectively cutting the price in half for the first year and then continuing with minimal electricity costs. Yeah, right? Isn't that amazing? And you really aren't sacrificing too much. You have to maintain it yourself. And you have to, I guess, have the space for it in your place. And, you know, whatever cables, and if you have an Ethernet cord or something. And then it's subject to your electricity and internet. But for most purposes that people are going to use like a small VM for, it's really not bad. If it's Visitronic. So yeah, I think we need to change this to 1. And I think this does have to do with Retina displays. And I don't think this is a problem as long as we expose a UI scale. And I think a lot of games do this nowadays. So you'd have some options menu and there'd just be a slider in there. I think that's what we have to code today. Yeah. Use the link option in Obsidian. I'm not sure what the link option is. Do you mean just typing square brackets and typing the name of another node? Creating new nodes? I think I disabled that because I think I accidentally, when I'm typing on a link, sometimes I'd accidentally type 2 square brackets and then I would create a note or something. But I mean, if it works for you, you should use it. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. What are my conclusions here? Zoom into 2x on battles. Okay. That's easy. Let's go do that. So that takes place from instance slot, I think. This was set to 640 by 288. So we need to double this. Is that correct? Because we cut everything in half. No, we don't need to double this. No, well, oh my God. I have no idea. I don't know what we have to do. 640 by 288. If I create an instance and I look at this, how large is this thing? No, this is half the size, which no, this is the Retina display thing. Has to be. Because this screenshot looks like what Ski had, right? Yeah. They're pretty much the same sizes. Does this include extra settings for the scale factor, or are we just gonna use some separate slider? Where I think we have to have the scale factor set to 1. I think. So I think we need to make our own UI scaling. And it probably won't be too hard. But there are gonna be some edge cases, I think. Optional link another note by having different text. Oh yeah, there is that option. I think I've got it in my notes. Obsidian. Yeah. It's just this. I'll link it in chat. At least I think that should be it. So I don't understand. What I don't understand is we can fit 6 battle windows here. So I guess I need to detect that you're on a large screen, and then what does it think the viewport is? It must think it's 1920 by 1080. Viewport rect. Yeah, if I put this inside of whatever, this code, and I just have it print this out. Viewport, and then delete that. Actually, who cares about deleting it or not? Doesn't matter. Goose, thank you too. Welcome back. Thanks for the resub. No, whoa, look at that. 3840 by 2104. That is not what I would have expected. Wow. Well, that explains everything. Oh, so then how is it setting itself to that? I wonder. Happy Labor Day. Yeah, I forgot. How is it getting that value? My monitor isn't set to that amount. How does it know? It's ignoring OS scaling? Maybe it is. But how could it do that? This maybe. If true, allows high DPI display. If false, the platform's low DPI fallback will be used. Causes the window to be displayed in a blurry or pixelated manner. Recommended they make your project scale to multiple resolutions instead of disabling this. Okay, what happens if I disable this? What does it look like? Interesting. Yeah, that's what's going on. Although it's still, wait, where did I launch this? Yeah, now it thinks it's a 1080 display. Interesting. It's full screen, so there's no window UI or anything that causes it to use a different size. It's not actually full screen. I need to enter full screen by clicking this. But that is the problem that we have, is that high DPI option. I don't know what to do about this. So we set this to true. What if we have this, let's have this be exclusive full screen, I guess. And then I want to launch this. I see Physitronic. Yeah, I think I only found it myself by just Googling it anyway. Yeah, this doesn't change anything here, huh? Game is able to request to have a larger resolution. I don't fully understand yet to be able to say what's going on. I need to look more into this option. But what's happening is I have a high DPI display, which somehow Godot figures out. And then renders at like the native resolution. Oh man, what do you even do about this? Figure out how the high DPI stuff works. On my monitor, the viewport reports this. The 2104 is just it not taking up the full size, right? Shouldn't that be 2160? I think it should be. Hey, Potato. Hey, Hagerman. You somehow need to get the OS scaling factor to fix your assumptions. Yeah. Yeah. Our old friend DPI awareness. Yeah. Wouldn't call it a friend. Old enemy. So what do we even want, though? What's the ideal behavior here? On my monitor, I want to see exactly 3 battles. This would mean... Wait, if I just turn off high DPI, then I guess we have that. But then I don't know what this is going to look like on a low DPI monitor, I guess. Probably the same. But that's like super scaled. And now this looks like what the game used to look like when I had the scaling factor set to 2. So I can fit exactly 3 battles here. Most programs where you want to remove the formatting when you paste, you press Control-Shift-V and it removes the formatting. It's not every program, but yeah. Scale of this issue is huge. Tisk, tisk, tisk. All right, so what is this? What do we do with this? By default, they're considered DPI aware by the operating system. This is controlled by this setting, which should be left enabled whenever possible. Disabling this can break full screen behavior on Windows. Okay, well, so we just can't disable this. Yeah, but let's read on. Since Godot projects are DPI aware, they may appear at a very small window size when launching on a high DPI display, proportionally to the screen resolution. For a game, the most common way to work around this issue is to make them full screen by default. What? Oh no. Yeah, this is bad. This is really bad. It makes sense to you that it should be the reverse. Yeah, yeah. I think because of how you're trying to copy paste stuff, but I think for the average computer user, it's like, hey, I have text that is bold and has a link. When I paste it somewhere else, it should still be bold and have that link. We'll have to reduce the instances anyway because we need to add some border between the viewports. We don't need to reduce them in that case. It could just be what happens right now when we have too small a window. You could just scroll between them. Alternatively, the border could just be added on top of them and not between them. Like if we put a line here, it wouldn't cover anything important and you'd still have the visual separation. I am very torn on this because I don't know what we can do about it. So problem, if high DPI is off, then apparently Windows will have issues. So that alone makes it sound like it should never be off. But then if it's on, then on high DPI monitors, game will appear to be half the size. They say that you should fix this by scaling the viewport, but I disabled scaling altogether so that you could see more of the game world. there's no setting that's going to let this work, right? What does expand do here? There's no documentation for this. Oh. All right. Hey, Tim. And hey, Turtles. Thanks for the raid. How'd the stream go? How's everything hanging? Do you type stuff down for yourself to better settle the idea you have in your head, or for chat? For both. I think it helps people follow along when they can read what it is that I'm talking about if they need context. But then also I get context switched a lot by chat, so it helps me stay focused. Oh man. I'm not sure what we can do here. Yeah. I don't think we can set this to expand. Maybe what does ignore do? Let's just run the game. Let's just see what happens. Yeah. Anyway, Tim, I do hope it was a good stream. I hope you've been making progress. I am. Oh, hey, this kind of works, right? Wait, does it work? I don't even know. No, I don't think so. Stream went pretty well. Did some market research. Played some of the demos to feel the games as well. Demos are coming back. Did you learn anything important from the demos? Do you feel like, oh, hey, there's something I could improve after having seen them? Because I think there is a time when it's good to look at other people's stuff. And probably when you're in the initial phases, and then probably once you have enough of your own ideas down. I'll make it a text adventure game. Yeah, that'll fix everything. Aspect ignore. Yeah, I don't know what we do about this. For games, use viewport stretch mode, so they're automatically resized. For non-games, use disabled, set the stretch scale to a value corresponding to display factor in an auto-loads ready function. Display scale factor is set in the operating system settings and can be queried using... Oh, interesting. This method is currently only implemented on Mac. On other operating systems, you'll need to implement a method to guess the display scale factor based on the screen resolution. Oh man, what a mess. What a mess. So screen get scale is what I'm supposed to use here, and that's going to return 2. Yeah. Oh, I just hate it. I hate it. So, okay, let's print that out. Screen scale factor. Get screen scale. What is it? Get display. Where does this come from? Class display, but I guess this is broken. So there's no way to get the OS scaling. Apparently not outside of Mac OS. There isn't. Oh, in between. Oh, improving some tech work committing to a single idea. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I found the rapid prototyping has helped me a ton. And I mean, we threw out kind of a, well, not a large idea. I guess we just evolved it when we got feedback. So yeah, I am now on like a once every month release schedule, basically, just to figure out if I'm still building what people want. Because I really messed up with Botland. Spent years, developed so much, spent so many hours in that time, and nobody wanted it. It's really only missing on Windows, right? I guess so. Yeah. I didn't think about that. All right. Yeah. What is this thing called? Screen get scale. But this comes from the display. I don't even know how you get the display. Display server. Get screen. Oh, there it is. Screen get scale. So this is going to print out 2. It has to. There's no way. It could be anything else. You can choose in 1/4 increments. Well, you'd need to give the user an override. It said, how's this printing 1? Oh, I turned off high DPI. Okay, so if I say allow high DPI, then it reports the correct value. Yes, 2. Oh, all right. Just when I thought we were on the home stretch, we get this curveball thrown at us. All right, so what do we learn from all of this? Set the stretch scale to a value corresponding to display scale factor. I don't even want to do that though, do I? I have messed up everything. This shouldn't matter, right? Yeah, this shouldn't matter. Okay, if I launch this again, it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be in like tiny window size. Oh, so we could scale it up by 2. Yeah, we can change that here, I think. I don't know where you even change this. Display server dot scale, screen get scale, get max scale. Where do you set the stretch thing? Oh, it's called stretch, not scale. And I don't know where it is anyway. Get window. Stretch. Content scale stretch. Is that what I think it is? Policy to use to determine the final scale factor for 2D elements. Content scale size. I don't know what the difference between these two things is. Versus, what's the other one? Content scale size. What? Scale, here it is. To configure stretch base size at runtime, use get tree root content scale size property. Using, oh my god, this is so ridiculous. Content scale factor. Okay. Get tree root content scale factor. Get tree root content scale factor equals 2. All right, let's try running that. So it's going to launch. It's going to be super tiny. And then I'm going to press the home key and it's going to double in size. And now this should fit 3 battle windows. It does. And then we just hope that this works, I guess. This is so stupid. This is so stupid. Oh, man. So we have no way of detecting this on Windows, though? And we're just supposed to do this ourselves? You need to implement a method to guess the display scale factor based on the screen resolution with a setting to let the user override this. Looks like I decided to watch the right time. Are you struggling with this too? Because this is obnoxious. This is super obnoxious. And like every single game needs to do this? I guess not every game. All right. I think let me look at Ski's pictures again. We had a picture of I think Ski said this looked crisp for everything. And I think it looks crisp enough over here too, right? Like none of the text looks bad. It's all readable. Yeah. I think this is probably a good solution. Not always to. Yeah. I think we do want to set it to what this thing was set to. Although it only can return 2, I think it said. Screen gets scale. Yeah, on Mac OS the return value is 2 or 1. Wait, what? The return value is accurate only when screen is screen of main window. Due to API limitations, passing a direct index will return a rounded up integer. All right, whatever. We're not gonna allow that. Yeah, I do. Okay, so set scale factor to 1. We're done with that. That part's easy. Figure out how high DPI stuff works. I think we figured this out. So there's, what's that function called? Get scale, which reports 1 or 2. However, on Windows, it will always report 1. So this is so stupid. We need to auto detect settings on Windows based on the viewport size. Yeah. No, based on the screen size, which I don't even know how to get. Although maybe there's a C# thing to do that. Maybe there's a C# API for that. And then set this based on the screen scale, and then add an override for users to change the screen scale. Excuse me. Could you divide screen size by viewport size to figure out the scale factor? If you know that the window is maximized, then yes, you should be able to. Yeah. Do you read these notes later? Well, this is my to-do list. So yeah, I'm going to read this as I do this and then just delete it, I guess. All right. I think we're good. We probably still need to add an UI scale, but we don't need to do it now. Like, I can read the UI, but maybe some people find this a little bit small, in which case maybe they want to scale it up a little bit. I got to take a break though. So, you ready for the new Jump Royale UI? Is it jump time? It's jump time. So trust me, close the game. I saw this message, spam prevention keeps me from jumping. There is a way around that, and it's in the how to play. Yeah, to bypass duplicate messages warning or duplicate message warning on Twitch, add some garbage letters after the commands. So for example, if you want to just keep jumping up, you can just keep putting any random number amount, any number of A's afterward, or B's or C's or something like that. All right, where do we leave off? So auto detect settings. How do we get the screen size? Get screen size, get screen resolution. They should have made a function that would guess this for you. I just, yeah, I want to search for this. Don't get up, because I don't want to have to do work that every other game pretty much like this has to do. Screen scale windows. I'm going to search for guess as well. I don't see anything. The problem is I don't have access to a Windows machine very easily for testing this stuff. Like I have a Windows computer here and I could turn it on, but then I would need to remote into it, I guess, and hope that doesn't break anything. Or I just do this off stream and I can't show you any of it. Oh man, all right, this is ridiculous. Screen get scale, let's just search for that. Is this a Windows issue? Yeah, Windows. And when was this? April 18th. And they're just going to say that, yes, I can't do that. It's only implemented on Mac OS. I think it's time to implement those on Windows with get scale factor for monitor. Is this new? Article from February. Minimum supported client is Windows 8. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I don't even know how many people still use Windows 7. Windows usage by versions. Windows 7 is what? Yeah, like 3%. Okay, so who cares about that? Windows, what is this one? 10 and Windows 11. So Windows 10 and 11 form 95%. I gotta imagine if you're on Windows 7, you probably don't have a high DPI display anyway, right? And even if you did, I guess there'd be the user setting to change it. Not sure if this bug report is just for the editor. Getting in set and using real scale for monitor will not work without full DPI scaling support. Windows will return false values and rescale it afterwards. Oh my God. Oh, this is so bad. It's so bad. Implement this on Windows, Linux, and Android. This has been open for years. Okay, you know what? Honestly, I think what we have to do, because yeah, we can't just tell the screen size, right? Because you can set scaling on Windows. So we could detect that the screen size is really, really large, but you might have also zoomed to like 4x such that your effective size is actually way smaller. So I think what we have to do is just launch it at 1x on Windows and expose the option to scale it up. What would that look like though? I guess it would look like this, where everything is really tiny. And hopefully you would see that and you'd go to the options. Yeah, I can't think of what else you would do here for that. Just cut up an onion and it's the strongest onion in the world. Imagine if that was literally the case. It was the strongest onion. You found it, you cut it, now you're tearing up. So I don't think we're going to do this. And I think we got to write this down somewhere. Godot engine. Do we have any like resolution stuff? No, we don't. But this is all just a gigantic mess. So let's put a thing here. Accommodating different resolutions. This is it's just all annoying. This is probably the best resource for it though. Yeah. The official documentation is a really good resource for this. Here are some things I learned. High DPI support is pretty awkward because get screen scale, is that what it's called? Get scale is only implemented on Mac OS. What this means is that if you're on a Retina display, even if you use the Mac OS settings to set your resolution to X by Y, I guess let's just say like 1920 by 1080. Godot will make a, how does it do that though? How does it make a viewport that's larger? The viewport in Godot will be 3840 by 2160, right? ABC. When World of Tanks in full screen and VirtualBox began, they start fighting and change my resolution in endless loop. It's probably caused by issues like this. Unfortunately, screen get scale is only implemented, or wait, I already wrote that down, but I meant to link to this. Yeah. It's not just a reference, it's like the proposal on GitHub here. Proposal to implement on other platforms here. Okay. So what do we have to do again? Add an override to change the screen scale. I think that's the most important part. And then set this based on your monitor. Gets the device resolution if it knows it's full screen, bypassing OS settings. Yeah, I wonder how much that would fix of this stuff. We do definitely need to add in a full screen toggle at some point. This is one of the big questions for checkpoint 3, though. Number 3, is the resolution good? What's your monitor? If it's Windows, it might return the right value. From what I'm reading here, it doesn't sound like it's easy to do that because of multiple monitors, of scaling, and of something else. Maybe it's just those two things. All right, well, at least we figured that out. So let's go add in the override now. What have I changed so far? Literally just the scale factor set back to 1, and then we dynamically change it to 2. The rounding to the next integer in its API, at least I only read that for Linux on this thing. It says on Linux, the return value is accurate only when screen is this. Due to API limitation, it gets rounded up. On Mac, it's just not, or on Windows, it's not even implemented. So it must just always return 1. Actually, yeah, what happens when you... Can we go see the definition of this? Go GitHub. Screen gets scale. There should be a display server for each of the different platforms though, right? Yes, there is. Okay, where's the Windows one? Maybe it's Win. I don't even see it here. Oh, maybe there's a default implementation and that's what returns 1. Where's the Mac one then? Here's Mac. Showing the max of this and backing scale factor, which I guess can only be 2. So then what's the, this comes from display server. What's the default implementation of this? Web here. Yeah, return 1. Okay. Okay. So it's not that it errors or anything. It's just set to hard, it's hard coded to 1. That's fine. That's fine. Because when we set the scale factor, we're going to set it to whatever that thing is. But we only want to do that the first time that we need to save that you've done it. But that assumes that you're going to be playing on the same computer. I guess if it's your save file, it would be. I don't know how Steam roams save files. Oh my God. We need some like device specific save stuff. Steam save file roaming developers. I don't know how this works. Settings are separate per machine. But how do I, like if I load up most games on Steam that have save data on computer A, won't it be the same save data on computer B? Don't they roam that stuff? Developer, how to sync save file. Steam cloud saves. Save data is just the game save and not the config though. Oh, I see what you're saying. Just save this in a different file completely. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Of course. Okay, well, we're going to have to write that down at some point. File a task for saving device settings, like resolution, to a different local only save file so that Steam doesn't roam these. All right, the other question I have is how big should you even be allowed to make this game menu, the scaling factor? Like if I add in another child node here, and can we get a slider really fast? Yeah, H slider. Okay, so just put this here for now. And tick count. What is tick count? Number of ticks displayed on the slider, including border ticks. Uniformly distributed value markers. Okay, let's say 2. Min value 0, max value 2. I don't see ticks there. Oh, there we go. Ticks on border. Can we set this to 1 to 2? Yeah. I don't know if it would help to set this to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Step is 1. That's all fine. Good, good, good. All right. Now let's go get that H slider inside the game menu. Private H slider, H slider. Now there should be a signal here for when it changes. Changed, yeah. Plus equal value. And what are we doing with this? We're just setting the content scale factor. Delegate action does not take one argument. What does it return? What? What does this signal have? Two things apparently? Drag started dragon. I guess range has a signal for changed? Changed. Emitted when min value, max value, page, or step changes. And then there's value change. Okay, value change what I wanted. I didn't realize that would be the thing. Okay, so now set this to the value. Let's go try that out. Double to what? Int? Float? Should be fine. What are you saying, Freak Tactic? About 1 tilde 3 or 4 is what I assume these days. So now I can drag this slider. Yeah. I don't think anyone would ever need to move this to 4. But who knows? But this just scales the entire game. Font still looks great when it's scaled like this. That font does not look as great. Yeah, that looks bad now. So the in-world stuff looks bad, but the control element stuff looks good. Yeah, there's some jank with immediately applying it. Yes, I need to wait until you let go of the mouse. But that's a polish thing as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, the fonts will look bad. Should there be a 0.5 setting? I don't know if you can even do that. Oh, you can. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there should be. I'm not sure. Hey, Trackley. I want to store those settings. Yeah. We need to store the settings for sure. But I need this set to 2 for my machine. And then is there a way to make these labels look better? There is something I could think of, which is what if we had control nodes and we put them into world coordinates? Because right now the way that we've done this is where's that nudge label? It's just directly in the town, I think. It's actually inside of a VBox container, and this should have its right texture filter set. Yeah. Oh wait, the font is empty? What does that mean? That means you use the default font, right? I think it does. Can I load in the font? Does that fix this all of a sudden? I don't think that did anything. Yeah, I don't think this has any impact. I just want to see that text. See if it looks shoddy still. Yeah, it does. Did I spot FL Studio in the tab menu? Yeah, you did. I'd been working on, this is the second town theme I was showing somebody, but I'd been working on the first town theme for some time. I need to finish that. I actually just started making title screen music yesterday, although that's just an idea right now. But yeah, I realize I'm going to need title screen music, and it's got to be something that fits. All right, I don't know what to do about this problem now. I think everything else is pretty clear. When the scale factor is higher than 1, how do we make labels look good in when they're in world coordinates? Reposition the mouse cursor. Oh yeah. That part needs to be done for sure. I gotta change this, or just make it a not a visual slider, but like a number slider, one that looks like this, where you just have a number and you have an up arrow and a down arrow. So that way, when you click once, it doesn't mess everything up. Yeah. Bigger question is, how do you make this look good? It's good when zoomed in, but not when zoomed out. And only because it's in world position? Like, it is a true type font. Why is that different? I don't understand that. This will look good at any size. Oh, because it's in its own canvas layer? Oh, yeah, because the camera is affecting this thing's zoom level, huh? Oh. Oh, God. What do we do about that? I guess we could put the label into... Oh, man. No, I need it to follow the camera. I think we need a script for this. I think that's the only way to do that. I think we should do that in a separate change. They look bad right now because they get scaled by the camera. I want them to get scaled by Godot and just have them get positioned by the camera, which probably means writing a custom script to position them based on the town's camera, but scale them in a different way. Still based on the town's camera, though. I'll need to figure that out. You probably don't want it to be smaller if it's zoomed out either. I think for some cases I do. Like, if you have an item on an item display, I think having that get zoomed out is probably a good idea. This is what this should look like. Does it look even better here? Sounds like a normal HUD kind of application. I expect the engine to be able to help with. It probably can, yeah. I mean, this stuff all looks good. Like, that text is fine no matter what size I set this stuff to. Like, even if I super zoom in on this, this text is super crisp. So that's a win. And it seems to look good everywhere. It's just the text in the world that looks bad. And maybe we can do something about that, but that I'll worry about later. So I think what we need to do is we need to save this setting. We need to auto detect the setting on Mac. So we need some sort of like, there's a game saver. Yeah, we need some kind of like a device settings saver. Yeah, so I guess let's just save, whoops. Let's save this as device. Are there any, maybe I should just call it local settings? Local settings saver? Yeah, I like that. Local settings saver. Okay, we still need a save version inside of here. We're just going to be serializing like basic integers and stuff. So I guess we don't need this. I guess we don't need this. Sure, right indented, that's fine. Last load time I don't think is needed. Is loading probably isn't needed. What is this used for? It's for loading the world. Yeah, I don't think this is needed. And then all save data can be made into like a device save data. Where does this exist? Save system. Yeah, so we'll say local save data. Okay, local. And then write a comment here. This contains settings that shouldn't be synced between devices, e.g. resolution settings. Hey, Pretzel. Looks like the font is rendered and then scaled rasterized. Yeah, I think so. And I just need to figure out how to change that behavior. All right, JSON property name town. I don't think we even care about the name of this stuff. Actually, we probably do. No, I don't know. Let's not worry about that for right now. All right, so what are we gonna save? We're gonna save a public bool has auto detected screen scale equals false. Let's just start with that one. Do not declare. Sure. Yeah, we might need that. Tell everyone of the 100,000 tasks I will do. Yes, but that's task number 100,000. So you have to wait until I do the other ones. All right. Local settings saver. We don't even need this, do we? What was this thing called? A game saver? Why do we save that there? What is this used by? The town so that we can get it. Yeah, this is a mess. What's the current task? Current task is to implement this slider correctly. This is for the scale of the game. It turns out everything I was doing works pretty well. So like the game window can be resized and you'll just see more or less of the world. And if you don't have enough space for all the battles, So if I shrink this to something like this and then create 3 battles, then you can scroll this. So we got that stuff working. The problem is I then shared it with Ski, who's on Windows, on a low DPI display, and it looked like garbage. It looked like this. So here you can see the battle's taking up more than half the window size. And it turns out that is caused by this setting right here, scale. I had it set to 2, and that made it look 2 times the size it should have on Windows. So after doing a lot of research, we found out that that has to do with high DPI monitors. So what we need to do is allow you, if you're on a high DPI monitor on Windows, which we can't auto detect, for you to change the UI to make it still look good. And that's what this slider is going to do. But this slider, one, the UI of it is bad. You can see it's like jittery when I get to the edge of it. But also I need to save those settings somewhere, and they need to be saved separate from the user settings, because something like, you know, your rogue is level 5 and has, you know, level 3 quick strike. This is something that should be roamed between computers that you play on or devices. But something like this, that you're playing at a resolution of, you know, 600 by 400, is not something you should roam. So get save file path. We have save file name, save.json. We're going to say local save file name, local settings.json. Good, cool. Now that's our resolution. That it is. All right, so local save data equals new has auto detect. I'm just going to set this to true for now. And get the save file path, saving to there, serialize it, write all text, local settings saved, print message, load the text of the message. Yeah. Why does this have a position here? Oh, because this saves it directly. The town should just have some like UI, what do I call this? Create floating text. Text in color. Oh, we can change the other saver thing here too. Game saver. Floating text. Town. So message in color. Why is this problematic? Oh. Not paying attention is why. There. Only allows me to venture into one cave and get poisoned and die. In the future, though, we're going to have 2 caves, and you can choose which kind of poison. Snake poison or frog poison. You're thinking of evil salmon. This is dark salmon. So get all entity save data. I'm just going to delete all this stuff. We're just going to break everything. Loading local settings from plus file path. Yeah, in fact, that should also be over here, right? There's no point saying... What's going on? Something looks borked here. Also, I got rid of an enumeration. What? Did I even change this file? Oh, yeah, I needed this for that floating text scenario. Yeah, I guess we don't need it anymore. But I also wanted to change this. Loading from the save file, This should say loading save data from file path. There. Oops, I think I accidentally pasted. All right. Okay, load. We're gonna have local save data. Fail to deserialize local save data. Is loading as needed. We don't need that stuff. We're just gonna print this out. Local save data. Loaded this data. I'm not even sure if that's going to print anything. I'm not sure how that works. Done loading, I don't care about. Can load game, I don't care about. And then I don't care about all these things. Is it gonna work? Yeah. Oh, we need a save version in there too, now that I think about it. Version here, put that into local save data. Game saver, local save. There. All right, let's try that out. So now we need code to save and load this stuff. We don't have a lot of custom keys that we can use. We could just add in a couple extra buttons, I guess, but I'll just do this here. Well, we'll delete that for now, put that into the town and unhandled input, and delete all of this stuff. So when you press home, it's going to save local settings saver.save. How does that work? Save with a town, this. And when you call end, it's going to load. Yeah. All right, let's try that out. Ah, nice. Look at that. Local settings saved. Where did it save? Saving to here. Open that file. Is this opening Xcode? What's going on right now? Yes, it is. Ugh. Stupid Xcode. Force quit. All right, has auto-detected screen scale is set to true. Version is set to 1. How did we set it to true? Did I just force save it as true? Yes, I did. Okay, yeah, that's good. Now let's try loading it. Did it work? Loading local settings from here. It didn't print anything though. Should have said loaded this data. What? It didn't print an error either. Failed to deserialize. I don't understand. Yeah, I don't understand. Wow, how could it not print anything for this? I'll just put a breakpoint here. Local save data should have true and 1 in it. Yeah, it does. That print just literally does nothing? What? Is it because it there's no toString on this thing? Okay, loading. Does it print this out? It still doesn't. That's so bizarre. I've never seen that happen. Oh my God, because I have this. Oh, it's so devious. There's a bunch of garbage that prints out at the beginning, all of this stuff. So I put a filter on it to not show it. And I happen to use the word loaded here. So if I had just said, instead of the word loaded, if I said chickened, then everything would be fine. Yeah. Okay. Now it doesn't print anything interesting there, but that's because I didn't write a toString. The reason we'll just have a USB SSD that it backs up to. You should always think of like, what are the failure scenarios you're trying to prevent against? Like if it's a fire, then having an SSD attached to the same device is not sufficient. But if it's just hard drive failure, then that is sufficient. So if you're just trying to protect against the drive on your mini PC failing, then yeah, I think that's fine. Sure, that works. Laden data. Yeah, cloud save I think would be good. Typically from your mini PC, you probably only really want to save like whatever databases you're using. Any program settings and everything else, you could sort of save those onto GitHub if you think about it that way. Like I'm running some Docker images and I think it'd be easy enough to set up the mini PC again. I actually have notes on what I did to set it up because some of this stuff you can't save in any other way, right? Like the BIOS, you just need to set these settings again. By the way, I highly recommend setting whatever power on boot you have for your mini PC. This makes it so that if your power goes off, when it cycles back on, your mini PC will turn itself back on. So for example, let's say you're on a trip, you're away for a week and your power goes off, then you can still access whatever service without needing to like go back home. Just disk failure or stupidity, yeah, then I think an SSD connected to it is fine. Although at that point, I mean, you could just SCP whatever settings you have to another machine entirely. Not having run either in months. Yeah. We all know that feeling. All right, so we have a way to save this now. Now, what's the logic we want to implement for this? This auto detect stuff. So I guess we think about it this way. On startup, load device settings. If you haven't auto detected the screen, then auto detect it now and set a scale accordingly. So 2x on Mac OS. Then save that you've auto detected the settings. That does sound annoying, free technique. All right, so where do we want to do this? I guess local settings saver is going to need something like I guess it's just load at the very beginning of the game. Yeah. And it's got to be the very beginning of the game. And it probably shouldn't have a town here. Yeah, what would we need the town for? We shouldn't. Let's just delete that stuff. All right, so what's the very first place we can put this? There's a main. And this changes to the town scene. I think we should set the resolution before we even do that. Yeah. So first we check to see if it exists. If it doesn't exist, then we assume this is a first time run. So don't throw an error here. Just do first run, first time, or like figure out first time settings. Yeah. So private static void figure out. So we're going to auto detect the screen scale now, which is where this code comes in. And then we need to load this correctly. So the local save data needs to save this. Public, I guess it's technically a float, but I'm going to make it an int. Actually, no, I should save it as a float. Screen scale. Yeah. Or I should save it as what Godot calls it, content scale factor. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna save this as the display server dot screen get scale. There we go. Then we're gonna set this up here. Oh, there's no tree for this. Oh man. Drat, we need a root node. What even is this? Get tree dot root. What are you? You're a window. Okay, we got to pass in a window then. Get tree dot root. Bar tree equals get tree. Use explicit type. It's a scene tree. Okay, that takes in a window. Now we set the, actually I should say root window here. Yeah, right? Root window. Set the content scale factor equal to whatever we've loaded from this. Content scale factor. Okay, what are we looking at now? Yeah, I think this is good. Okay. I'm gonna try running this. Can't save this. This needs to be get tree.root. I think we're gonna need that. We don't actually use anything here yet, but maybe we will. We can't use the floating message either anymore. Local settings saved. Yeah, all right, let's try running that. Whoops. Why can't I close this? Oh, because of this dialog. Okay, so game loads, I am in the wrong setting, and that's because my save file existed. We need to delete this. There. Now I reload. Perfect. So it scaled up to 2, and it should have saved that it scaled up to 2. Yeah, it did. So if we were on Windows, that would save it as 1. Now we need it so that when you modify the setting in the UI, it saves to the right location. I put this directly into game menu. Where is that slider? Here it is. Value change. So we need to change it immediately and then also persist the settings. Typically, when you're modifying game settings, there's an explicit save button. I'm not going to do that yet. We're just going to save this right to disk. But that means we need to track this somewhere. Yeah, I feel like we should track this somewhere. That's auto-detected screen scale, content scale factor, the version. Like the currently loaded settings, right? And we want to change that and then save it. Where are we going to put this? That slider also needs to be set to the right position. And nothing knows how to do that right now. Although these don't need to be loaded on demand. They're just when you start up the game. So we need to keep this in memory somewhere. And then once we've created the town, okay, let's write down some of these things. Save local save data in memory somewhere so that we can update it. And then after in the town's ready, pull the current screen factor from the save data and set the slider appropriately. Okay, where to save? We're gonna need a local save data somewhere. I mean, I think local settings saver could probably have it. Problem is this is a static class, so I'd be making that thing static as well. And I think it makes sense. You only have one device. It's just a little weird, but this is not going to be some like intertwined thing all over the place. Really, all we're going to be saving here is what? Like video settings, audio settings, and maybe some accessibility settings. Is there anything else that's device specific? Maybe hotkeys? What else do games usually have? Some game options, maybe. These are questionable. These aren't device specific, so maybe these don't. Maybe these roam. Yeah, language and stuff. Like that's probably something that would roam. I don't know for sure though. Yeah. Okay, well then how about this? Let's put it in the town for now. Although that can't make sense, right? Because that would mean that you need the town in order to have a reference to this. It's got to be at some like game level. So I guess main would have it and it would pass it into the town and it would just be a reference. Alternatively, yeah, no, this has to. I could make it static. I don't like the idea of doing that, but I guess we don't really have a need for it to be to have duplicates of this. I just don't like, the reason I don't like it is because, or making it static is because if at some point in the future you do need a copy of this, then you need to go disentangle it from everywhere. But I don't know if that's ever going to happen. These are settings. I guess that's how every singleton starts, right? I don't think this will ever happen, so I'm going to cram it into a singleton. All right, let's do that for now. So public static local save data. Local save data. All right, so this will get set when we load. And then we need a way of saving this stuff. So that's where the game menu had this thing, right? Yeah. So we could say local save data. Oh, it's this, yeah, local save data dot content scale factor equals float value. I guess what we should do is we should have a, I guess there should be a local settings class, and that way the save thing can be its own entire layer, and the settings thing can know how to apply these changes. But if we're gonna do that, local settings might need to be tied into the town. I gotta think of how we're gonna do audio eventually, because right now we don't have audio in the game. We're gonna have some sort of audio player. Or maybe a lot of this stuff will just be accessible as long as we're in the Godot tree somewhere. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna worry about this too much. Let's do this for now. Okay, then we'll say local settings saver dot save and get tree dot root. Be nice to not have to do this. But yeah, this is the only value we have. All right, let's go try that out. So we're just gonna keep open, where's the save file? I'm gonna keep that open. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so content scale factor set to 2. As we change it in the game, it should just automatically take effect. So it's set to 0. Set to still 0. Huh, well that probably means something broke. It doesn't? What? What is save doing? Oh, this. Oh my God. We want to delete this. There. We don't even need the root window. We can delete the one from town, I guess. We can delete all this stuff. What's the minimum value? It's 1. Yeah, the reason it was set to 0 in the save file is because I was creating an intermediate object that just didn't set it at all. So it got the default C# value of 0. That was my stupid mistake. All right, but now it should be working correctly. Well, whoops. I forgot to change save to not take in this. All right, so I want to go back to that save file. Here it is. And I want to change this. Yep, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you can see that changing over here as soon as I change this. Now there's one other problem, and it's that we don't load that setting and set it in the UI correctly. So when we make the game menu, we should pull from there hSlider.value. There's a set value? Why is there a set value? Why isn't this just a property? There's no set value. Value equals that. hSlider does not exist. Ah, that's why. It was just AI spewing garbage at me. So what did I save that as? It should get loaded in exactly the same way. I think I saved it as the largest setting. It does not appear that way. We're going to set this to 4, and we're going to restart the game. And it should be set to 4 by default. Yeah, nice. All right. So yeah, you can save this setting now. And if I set it to 1 and I quit and then load the game up again, it should be as zoomed out as possible. Yeah, good. Okay, so are all these things done? Save it in memory, and town's ready, pull it in. Yep. Set scale factor to 1. When it's higher than 1, how do we, okay, we still have to do that. Figure out how this works. I think we've done that. Auto detect setting on Windows, I'm not going to do that. Add an override, we did that. Zoom in on 2x to battles, we don't need to do that. Change the maximum zoom, we don't really need to do that. But maybe we do. If you have this set to 1, then perhaps you'd want to be able to zoom in a little bit more than this. Like this is the maximum zoom level. But when you have this set to 2, zooming in further than this probably doesn't matter. I don't know. Why stop you from doing it though, right? I think let's at the very least just change the maximum zoom to 1 level higher. Oh, we could just, oh, interesting. We could set this to like 5, 6, and then 7 and 8. It should just automatically work, right? Yeah, so I can zoom really far in, which at this level might be what you actually want. Yeah. On 1, it looked a little too far away, but 2 is too close for my taste. Well, so you're changing the scale of everything in the game. Like you can see the buttons getting bigger here too. So this is really only intended to be used by very few people. I also have to put a label on this. Also, hey, orange. All right, so add a label to the slider that I added and change the slider to a number spinner or whatever they call them. There's one other thing I wanted to do, right? I don't remember what it was. Oh, yeah. Try what would happen if this could be 0.5. Yeah, I wonder what that would look like. Let's test it out. So if I set this to 0.5, your 1080p screen can't render the slider. Yeah, you probably can. I guess that's where all the things that change video settings have some explicit action you've got to perform. I probably won't do that for checkpoint number 3 though. All right, so right now we're at 0.5. Is that correct? I don't think that's correct. Yeah, let's try 0.25. Like, is this having an impact? I don't think so. It doesn't look like you can go below 1 for this. I mean, that's a pretty bad worst case, though. Any case where a new player wants to change the settings and then gets stuck, they're probably not going to spend the effort changing that. So, oh, 0.5 is the lowest. Okay, that's why. Huh, that's actually kind of surprising. I don't know if we ever need to allow people to set it to that. It'd look really zoomed out for some people in some cases. For me, it's gonna look... No, wait a second. What? Why doesn't this look super zoomed out? Oh, because we're at a zoom level of 3. Okay, yeah, this is what the game now looks like when you're super zoomed out. Also interesting. That label looks great, but then the next one that pops up doesn't look great. Oh, because I'm at a lower resolution thing here. Okay, so yeah, I think 0.5 is just not doing anything. All right, well, all I want to do is try that out. So now we can go do these other things that I want to change. All right, the in-game menu, we're gonna do this in just the simplest possible way here. We're gonna add in a section. Let's add in a label and just say here, game options will eventually be its own menu. There, that's the easiest way you can do this. Now let's add in a number picker. Do those exist? There's text edit. Not really what I want. Is there no number picker thing? Range? Spin box, that's what I want. Spin box. And can you put a label on this? Prefix test? Oh, cool. Although I think we probably just want a label, like a proper label. We could say like game scale and then put an X. A 3x3 pixel swatch. You can tell exactly what's going on in the game. Okay, so min value 1, max value 4. Update on text change, editable. Alignment. Yeah, all that stuff is fine. Okay, now let's access his unique name, delete the H slider, which is going to break everything. And now it's called spin box. So H slider is spin box. All right, spin box, change that one too. Is it value changed? It is. Wow, look at that. So everything else can just be exactly the same, right? Let's try it out. Neat. Except for this is no longer centered. Why is that the case? That's strange. Is this not in a center container? It isn't. In-game menu takes up the full screen though. Layout is set to, yeah, full rect. Panel margin VBox container. This must be what's got this set to center. Layout. Anchor preset center. Yeah, weird. Weird indeed. I wonder if that's a Godot bug. Oh, nice. You can just type in a number. Wait, doesn't that mean I could type in like 1.2? No, I can't. Oh, because this only allows for integers, right? Yeah. Wait, how did it get off center? I can't seem to do that anymore. What? Was I making that up? Maybe it was always centered. Also, these buttons are really hard to click, and they don't even have any feedback on them. I think this is probably good enough for now. Typing clears the label. That's silly. Does it also clear the label when you set the value from the save? No, I think it's only when you've got it in typing mode. Because if you just click, it's... Oh, wait. No, even clicking changes it. Okay, well, then let's just put the label outside of it. Yeah, it is a little strange to do that, I guess. So we'll make an HBox container, put this inside of there, put this up to here, put a label inside of this, move this up, say game scale, multiplier, game scale. Yeah, I think putting the X on here is actually important. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy enough with that. Oh, that's how we got it to happen. Is the window bigger than it should be? No, it's not. Huh. That's bizarre. Yeah, that's how it got off center. It's when you start at a size that is greater than 1. Yeah, you're right. I think just having 4 individual numbers would be better. It's weird though that if okay, I'm gonna take that suggestion. I like that. But change number spinner to individual buttons. All right, thank you, Boss Orange. Yeah, I wonder why that happens. Because it should always be centered. It's not. Yeah, radio buttons. That's an even better idea. All right, so game scale, let's add in 4 buttons. Check button, option button. Oh, actually, this could also work, right? Just a drop down of 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wonder if that's what's best. I'm kind of leaning toward it being best. All right, items, add element, text, 1x. 2x. Buttons would be one interaction to switch. Yeah, that's true. Okay, fine. we'll change it. Whatever. All right, how do you do this now? There's some like button group. Yeah, new button group. Allow unpress. No, that should not be possible. Local to scene on name. Game scale buttons. How do you make this look like a radio button? Toggle mode on. Well, let's just add another one and see what happens. I don't think this does what I want it to do. I bet this is like 10x the code though. Okay, there we go. That does work. Okay, 3x and 4x. In fact, I don't even know why I added these via the editor. Probably should have just added these via code. But it's too late now. I don't care. So there's going to be game scale 1x, game scale 2x, 3x, and 4x. Now make them all unique. And let's go fetch them. So it's game scale. So 4 in I equals 1, I is less than 4. Actually, what we could do is we could just get the buttons that are inside this container. Game scale settings. How fun. Okay, let's do this. Set up game scale settings or game scale controls. All right, private void that. Now we want to get this thing. Container equals get node control. All right, so that's a container. Now we want to get all the buttons underneath it. Container.get children of type button. There we go. Then we go through each of these for each button in buttons. All right, we want to set, I guess the labels are fine. We just need their listeners and we just need to know what index we're at. So I guess we do it this way. Buttons.count. This is going to enumerate this again, right? Yeah. So then let's turn this into a list, I guess. Cool. All right. When you press it, we set the scale factor to I+1. We save that. We save that. We don't need a spin box here anymore. So delete that, delete that, delete that, and that. Oh, and then set the one that's, oh, drat. We need to get what the current scale factor is. If, hey, nice. And it's like toggled equals true, toggled. Yeah. Do not check floating point equality, use a range instead. Yeah, this kind of makes me think I should just save this as an integer. Button group. Yeah, I think I already am using this. Oh wait, oh it's a thing you can add. You don't need to add it like that. No, I think I'm using it then. All right, local save data. We could just convert this to an integer. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so now all the buttons should work. It did not toggle this correctly. If I plus 1 equals this, let's put a breakpoint here. Let's also move this down in the file. Means our breakpoint is now wrong. Breakpoint and restart. Hey Mac, over on YouTube. I'm 12 minutes late to responding to you. I don't know. I feel like these messages don't show up for me on time, and I don't know why. It's possible I'm just missing them. That's entirely possible. All right, so this is set to 4. We're iterating over 4 buttons. So I plus 1 will eventually be 4. And then we should set its toggle mode to true. So this is when I is 1. So this will be 2. So this will be 3, which means we should go into this and we set it to true. So then why isn't that actually taking effect? Is it not toggle mode? There's like some other way to set this. I don't know what it is. Auto repeat toggle. Here it is. How do we change this? Here it is. Set press no signal. That's what it's called. Oh my God. Of course. There. You have top chat, not live chat. Oh, I gotta change that every time? Oh my God. What a stupid UI. So I guess it only becomes top chat after a certain amount of time, maybe? Hey, Craze. All right, let's try this. Yeah, nice. Now it's working. Okay, so now you can change. Ooh, that's not doing what I wanted to do. Set content scale factor to I plus 1. What's wrong with that? Oh, I see. The whole iterating over this thing, we need to make it its own function or something, right? Did I not write this down? I did. Oh my God. All right, we're gonna put this here, KW closure. All right, to fix this, simply copy I into a local variable and use that. All right, int zoom equals I plus 1. And then just use that everywhere. That should fix it. Now none of these are selected. Why are none selected? It seems like an even bigger problem. Oh, because it's set to 5. Oh, because of the problem we had earlier. Yeah, okay. It's actually fixed. It just wasn't in a good state to start with. Okay, sure, whatever. That's good enough for now. It's clearly working. And if I delete the save file, so let's say we set this to 4, just to make it obviously wrong. I'm going to delete the save file entirely though, so it's not like it's going to matter. And then when you run it, it should be set to 2 by default. Perfect. Great. Great. Wow, what a morning, right? This is pretty much all we've done other than the jump royale thing. But hey, this was necessary. Have we done everything now? Higher than 1. We need to do this still. We changed the maximum zoom. We added the option. All right. So yeah, the only issue we still have is that if you set this to a really high number, that now the in-game labels will look bad. Let's take a picture of that. Oh wait, we need to save it there. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to take another quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to tackle this. I guess where I left off is commit what I was working on. Is it jump time? You sure you want that zoom thing in the menu to zoom as well? Yeah, for now. In the future, we can change it. Is it jump time? It's jump time. Go Deke sneaking into the resub. Thank you very much. Happy, oops, close the game. Forgot that was in full screen. Happy almost 4 years. 3.5, rounding up. I do appreciate it. Stealth mode failed. Can't fool me. I do try to scroll up in chat because I think people who are new don't necessarily know that I'm not there at the computer. Unless they were there right when the game started. I made some very important changes here. Saving settings, that looks good. I like this, yep. Oh, so far, I mean, all of this looks pretty much fine. Yeah. All right. Yeah, nice. I'm happy with pretty much all of this. Other than this blob, wow, that looks bad. Let's go figure out what that is. Instances manager 152. Delete this debug code. I think we needed this for the carousel stuff. Yeah. All right, it at least won't be a change anymore. Accommodate high DPI monitors. I didn't even realize this was a problem. I had the scaling mode set to 2 so that the game would look correct. That was only needed because I have a high DPI display. When Ski tried the game, Halter Baby, thanks for resubbing. I'm doing well. I'm back from vacation as of Wednesday of last week, or at least back to streaming as of Wednesday of last week, and I should hopefully not be taking any like major breaks the rest of the year. And I say hopefully, even though most people would be like, oh, don't you want to take a break? Because I want to work on this game, at least for a solid chunk of time. And if I find myself burning out, I'll reevaluate. But yeah, I'm still excited. It's like, you know, this individual task, I can't say it was fun exactly, but we were steadily moving forward, and that's fun. The task itself is, I don't know, kind of lame, but we got a lot of these sorts of things to do. How come your breaks are so short? Why don't you take a 10-minute break instead? I think it's a combination of things. For one, I used to just not take breaks other than bathroom breaks. And even my lunch breaks were like 20 to 25 minutes. So this is better than that at the very least. And the other is that I feel a certain pressure when I'm streaming to be away for as little time as possible. And I don't think I'm like burning out at this pace. I do think I should probably add in some more work time though. And it might be stream time, I'm not sure. Like I'm debating on streaming tomorrow, possibly with no camera on and just doing some organization tasks. Because there's a lot of that I need to do. I had the scaling mode set to 2 so the game would look correct. That was only needed because I have a high DPI display. When Ski tried the game, all of the game elements were too large. The solution is to set the scaling mode based on what the OS reports. Unfortunately, the only OS this works for is Mac OS. So I also added in user visible controls. Hey, John Doe. Okay, yeah, I think changing that to live chat helped. How do you deal with the grind? It's so much work to build something and it feels like it never ends in my case. You know, I have a tenets document, which is accessible to everybody. I'll paste it into both chats. And this particular tenet here, this bricklaying one, I've said this a bunch of times before, but if you were building a brick wall, you can very obviously tell how many bricks you have, how many you need to lay before you're done. And you can even very easily measure how many you're laying per minute or per hour. And that can be your sense of progress. I think as much as possible, you need to kind of try to look at every hour you put in as a brick in your coding brick wall. Like you don't know how many bricks it's going to take, but you do know that every time you put in an hour, you're moving something forward. And it might not even feel like it. A lot of times you can spend an hour and at the end of it, you're like, wow, I just developed 2 extra problems instead of solving anything. But that hour was still necessary. You still needed to put in the time to figure out what the problems were, or you needed to struggle with a bug, or you needed to do whatever. It all just comes down to that time. And sure, you can do things a little bit faster, a little bit smoother sometimes, but I think that mentality helps me feel like it's at least moving forward. The other thing that's nice is getting into the feedback loop sooner. So if you have not released your project to people yet, I suggest doing that because hearing their reactions can really help. How long did I work on the robot game? I think it was about 5 years. Yeah. Hey, enter hand known. Yeah. By the way, unknown, I don't know if you saw on Discord, but we did start watching Delicious in Dungeon. We watched maybe half of the episode, the first one. And my wife, it was a little bit late, and she tends to fall asleep when it's a little bit late and she's watching TV. So she started falling asleep, but it wasn't the show's fault. She likes the show. She just said that she doesn't want to watch it on an empty stomach. Hey, coffee. I also added in user visible controls that save to a separate local settings only save file. All right. Commit that. Yeah, I hope that helps, John Doe. I mean, at the end of the day, there's really no escaping the amount of work you need to do for releasing a game. And I just read something, I think it's the Binding of Isaac creator is working on a new game. Binding of Isaac creator hates releasing games. I read an article of something like this. Yeah. Hates everything about releasing a game. Unfortunately, this article is not very good. It doesn't go into a lot of details about why this person doesn't like this. But they said that they just like developing the game and that releasing it is a massive pain. All right, so we're done with that. When the scale factor is higher than 1, how do we make labels look good when they're in world coordinates? So I had an idea for this, but we should probably look online for... Oh, what's this? Node not found. Oh, it's saying 5 can't be found? Spinbox not found. I don't have any of that anymore, do I? No, yes, good. Okay, hey Z-Wubs. Pretty chill and satisfying to watch. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to watching more. We'll probably watch more this week. Okay, so Godot labels in world, or labels affected by camera look jagged. I know why this is happening. Yeah, it says you should use canvas layer. Create a new canvas layer node and add the label as a child of canvas layer. Oh, canvas has no impact on canvas layer. I don't want that then. Fix the label. Behaving strange when zooming. None of these are really helpful. Old school publish and ship date thing is difficult. Live ops continues to roll out products is somehow better. Yeah, I think once you've gotten to the point where you've got your V1 out, but I think prepping for a V1 is a lot of stuff that if you haven't done it in a while, you probably almost forget that it even needs to be done, like setting up a website and reaching out to influencers or something if you need to do that, other kinds of marketing, advertising. Once all that stuff's rolling, I think it's not too bad to maintain it. But like, I gotta make a game trailer. I don't want to make a game trailer. I don't want to spend that time at all. That's one of the tedious things in my mind. I guess what are our options here anyway? I could have this be a control and just scale it based on the camera. I kind of want to test this out. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to put... Wait. We need this to be in a canvas layer though, right? Yeah. So I need to put a label in here. This will become like super obnoxious to use, won't it? Oh man. I think so. I think it will. The only reason that this stuff looks good is because it's in a canvas layer. No, there's going to be no easy way to do this, right? If I have to add a canvas layer, then something like an item is going to be obnoxious to work with. It has a cost label on it. So I want that to be in the item scene. I don't want every scene to have a canvas layer. I don't even think that would work, even if I did. How close to shipping are you? Probably minimally like 4 months away. Skeleton and Warrior Adventure. Yeah, I don't know. Let's just test some things out. I mean, really, what could go wrong? We have a clean slate, right? Yeah, we have a clean slate, so it's not like we can break anything. So let's try it by putting the nudge label inside of a canvas layer, just seeing what happens. Like I said, though, I don't think you should have like a million canvas layers. Rendering of objects within a scene. Yeah, so if I put this here, now it should be unaffected by the camera, I think. I think it means it's going to show up in the same place every single time. Just for sorting, like layers. Ah, there it is. Yeah. So yeah, it's independent of the camera and independent of the camera's zoom. So it's going to now say the thing about battling up there. Or do you need to have built the guild? Does this not work anymore? Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. How did I break that? Oh, because the nudge label is now in a different place? Oh yeah, of course. Okay, let's just make this unique. Although we already know this isn't working, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Where are you? Where are you? I'm trying to find where this is. Town, there it is. There. I really should just make this change, make all the children unique at this point. Because this is annoying that things break when I move things around. Yeah. Wait, this is still breaking? Null reference. Did I forget to save? I always forget to save. I did not forget to save. So then how did I break that? Maybe we get the nudge label from somewhere else? No. Huh. What am I doing wrong? Node not found. Oh, because it's, oh my God, because it's inside the town thing. So I got to do it like, oh, I'm pretty sure I've done this somewhere else. Not any of those. Town nugget node. There it is. I should have just changed how this works. All right, so town nugget node. There. Again, I don't know why I'm doing this because this is pointless. we already know it's broken and this isn't gonna make it less broken. So one thing we could do is at least make sure that this is rendering correctly. Oh, do we need an adventurer? What is going on? Shouldn't that battle thing show up? Yeah. Yeah, so these look really bad. And as I was saying, something we can do is put this into a canvas layer and then position them as though they're affected by the camera. How would that work? Because we can change the position of something easily enough, but then the zooming, I guess we need a way of dynamically zooming this to prove that it even would work. But I guess we could just change the scale, right? Get them unpixelated first. But the unpixelating, I think, is just putting them into like the right canvas layer. Like I think follow viewport enabled. Is it going to say welcome to Skeleseller? Yeah. I got to figure this issue out. This is stupid. Yeah. I'll write that down. Bug when you start the game at 4x scale, the game menu is not centered. Oh, maybe, no, never mind. I was gonna say maybe this has to do with the font setting, but we know for sure that the game menu looks good. And I didn't do anything special for these, did I? Oh, I gotta change. Well, this inherits, but are these things set correctly? That also inherits. Inherit. Please tell me that I set this somewhere up in the hierarchy. Nope, I didn't. Okay, well then this stuff all needs to be changed. Let's just make it so that this whole VBox container has the right filter set. Linear. But that doesn't matter. That's not what I was even trying to do. There's a town menu, and the town menu all looks good. And I didn't do anything special for this, did I? No. Font is set to 18. Not that that matters. It just happens to be that this is inside this UI layer or canvas layer. Does not have follow viewport. Let's try that. Let's just set follow viewport and see what happens. Because that menu already looks good. How is that following the viewport? I can't open. Oh, I don't have an adventure. Yeah, none of that follows the viewport. Did I? Huh. I guess it doesn't know what viewport to follow. You don't zoom out on the menu. Other things look good, but when you zoom out, yeah. Or only look bad when you zoom out. Yeah. That's true. How would I get follow viewport to even work like this? Let's look up Godot label text when zooming out. Just see what people search for. Maintaining text size regardless of camera zoom. This isn't what I'd like to do, but this could work. Quick fix would be to decrease the scale of the labels by the same amount of your camera zoom. No, this is the same thing we found earlier from that hex-based game, right? We changed camera zoom using a script. Yeah. I don't know. I also don't know why this property isn't doing anything. If I scale this, does it show anything? No. I guess it doesn't know what viewport to follow. So it would need to be probably inside of this, which is probably going to mess everything up. Yeah, I'm guessing I would have just broken everything by doing that. Anything that has UI slash is probably going to be busted. So we could search for it and do that. All right, now what happened to all the UI? Can't be found, that's what happened. Where can't it be found? No, not found. Oh, because now it's in the town. Oh my God. Oh, this is not worth it. This is definitely not worth it. If anything, I should just make a new canvas layer and put it inside there. Yeah. All right, let's do that. Put this back to where it was. Delete the percent signs. Put this back to where it was. Stop getting rid of the camera. Lock camera. There. Now what I want is a new canvas layer in here. And something to go into there. I don't know, maybe another town menu. And then, I don't know, I'm just gonna run this. I don't even think I'm on the right track, by the way. I'm pretty much just doing stupid things. Does that work? Can we see anything? It was supposed to not lock the camera. Oh, hey, there it is. Okay. So yeah, So we have a menu now. Does this work? It doesn't. We have a menu now that is in world space, and yet it looks blurry again. I still don't know how we would do this. Godot labels and world coordinates. I mean, that's not hard to do. It's just that then the text looks bad. All right, well, the other thing we could try is changing the scale of the node, as was mentioned, which I guess in our case would be what exactly? Just changing the scale of this thing. What if I set the scale of this to 4x? And then we run that. So yeah, now it's gigantic. And it's also in world coordinates. That might do it. We scale that up and then offset whatever scale we're... Wait, how does that make sense? What if I said this is 0.5? Yeah. Why do the game menu labels look great? I don't know. That's the problem. Oh, and the tooltips look bad too. Wow. The tooltips aren't even in world coordinates, so I'm not sure why they look so bad. Maybe because of some default Godot thing. When you scale the game larger, the built-in tooltips look really bad. Hey, yo. Said the zoom will cause the text and the label to be blurred. Font oversampling does not take camera zoom into account by design. To have a font that renders crisply at any resolution, use an MSDF font if not using custom font. I am using a MSDF font though. And it doesn't look good at any size. Kivio keyboard? No, I just built this one myself. But I think you can probably buy this on Kivio. It's just a corn, so, and I think they sell them. Game scale and menu scale should not be linked. Game itself. Oh, I agree. I think there should be a menu scale that's separate. I just haven't done that yet. What we're trying to solve actually is just the in-game labels looking like this. Notice say their font renders differently in macOS Chrome compared to Windows Chrome. It's 1 pixel taller on Windows. Oh man, that's really frustrating. Actually, I copy pasted the entire town menu here. So any font settings would be retained between them, unless this has something special on it, which I don't think it does. Although this is its own viewport. Maybe there's something on here I need to do? Is there any oversize and scale? I think this is what I want, right? Sign distance field. Scale, resolution scale they use for 2D. Higher values lead to more precise and more stable sign distance field as the camera moves. All right, I'm gonna set this to 100%. I don't know, I'm just gonna change values here and we're gonna see what happens. And oversize, what is oversize? I'm gonna set this to 200. I don't know what this even does. It doesn't look any better, so. I have it scaled really weirdly. I'm also gonna restart this. All right, where'd that menu go now? There it is. Is it better? I don't think it's better. I don't know what it's doing. I guess I'll set this back to what it was. I don't know if this is even having an impact though. That's the problem. Yeah, I'm just changing some arbitrary values at this point. Resize it back to what it was. No, it looks jagged. Although I don't think it's as bad. What if I do this? I can't make this take up half the screen for some reason. Can I even resize it? No, I can't. I think the reason why is because of a minimum size I have set. So now it's set to 4 times that minimum size or something. I don't know. What was I going to do? I was going to put this, I'll just put this on my other monitor for now and then see what happens when I set this thing to a different value. Does that change something meaningful? It doesn't seem to take effect in real time. Where'd the label go? I can't tell if this looks better or worse. It should look worse if my hunch is correct. Can you attach your menu to your camera so you don't have to find it, or is that by design? Just starting to do some Godot following the tutorial, so I'm clueless. Oh, okay, so this is the real menu here, the one at the upper left, and that is not based on where the camera is. What I'm trying to figure out right now is why this looks really crisp and this one doesn't. Because I need to have text in the world coordinates, and I can't have it look jagged like this. But I can't figure out why this is the case. And what do I need to do here? Font that renders crisply at any resolution. Use an MSDF font. I've already set this up for sure. I know definitely that I have. Because right here in import, we have it checked. I guess the only other thing I could maybe do is set one of these things even higher. Width of the range around the shape between the minimum and maximum representable assigned distance. Using font outlines, it must be at least twice as large as the largest outline. And what's this? No, I don't think it's that. Yeah, maybe mid-maps? I mean, I'll try it, I guess. 0 gold. So I just need to make it wealthier. I could see mid-maps helping, but I mean, this all depends on what's actually being done to render fonts. So now we just try running the game and we cross our fingers. No, it's not great. I'll turn that off now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It was a world coordinate zoom. Well, my idea anyway here that might have worked and would have been incredibly tedious if it had worked would have been to put all my labels into the canvas layer where everything looked good. So in here, like if this label looks fine, I could just throw another label here and then reposition it myself. I'm not sure why this is happening though. And I think it has to be whatever's going on in this viewport. It's got to be something in here that's changing this because the main viewport doesn't have that problem. Yeah, that has to be the case. It's got to be something in this. It might be one of these things. Canvas items. Oh, wait, what's that? Oh my God. Default texture filter. Does that have any impact? Now all the pixel art's gonna look terrible. But does that look better? No. Okay. Well, worth a shot. Disable input. So it's either something in SDF or it's in the rendering thing. And I don't see anything in rendering that I don't know. Let's just set all these things to whatever's slowest. What is this? Temporal anti-aliasing. Actually, the temporal anti-aliasing would help if I snap to integer coordinates for pixel rendering. I'm just going to try running this. Hey, Skitter Cat. Thanks for the resub. I don't know why I didn't hear the noise. And I will do whatever labor I want to do. Make a screenshot and compare it to the other thing where it looks good side by side. Well, the only problem is the default renderer doesn't have the default viewport doesn't have an options thing that I can compare. It's in like totally different settings altogether. They're somewhere in here. And if I just search for SDF, it's just different options. I don't know what to do. Well, I guess this actually, okay, there is something else we could do, I suppose, which is to, put everything into this canvas layer, which is what I said earlier. It would be a mess. Hey, Varsovia. Are those UI elements scaled and the main menu isn't? Yes. So this is following the viewport now, I think. But actually, even when it wasn't following the viewport, I think there was a problem. Where did I even set this? Yeah, this. I turn off viewport following. Now I guess I have to hide the main menu or move it somewhere else. Just move it somewhere else for now. That is not how you move things. Move is what, W? Yeah. There. Yeah, actually, you can already see the difference right here. Huh. What is causing that? Yeah, interesting. Maybe just try putting one thing in the canvas layer. The thing is, everything that's in this, I guess we could try instantiating like an item in here or something. And where's its cost label? I don't even see a cost label. Oh, items don't have a cost label. The display has a cost label. All right, we'll delete that then. I want an item display. Yeah, cost looks super crisp. I don't have any other item displays in the game, do I? No, I don't think so. Happy Labor Day. We're not finding a solution to get to a new point how to solve it. I don't think asking an AI for help in this case is probably a good idea, but then again, that's just my own workflow, I guess. And asking in Reddit means that we won't be able to make any more progress till we get an answer. So I think I'll just keep kind of tinkering around and see what we can figure out. All right, text gets blurry when resizing viewport with canvas item stretch mode. I don't have canvas item stretch mode set though. It's always cool seeing screenshots of other people's games. Got interesting art and interesting ideas sometimes. All right, so we know this viewport's good and we know this viewport is not good. Or well, no, the canvas layer itself shouldn't be different, right? That I can take a look at. So if we go to town.tscn and go to UI here, here's the canvas layer. And it just has follow viewport enabled set to true, which I enabled. So otherwise it has no changes whatsoever then. Yeah, has no changes whatsoever. And this canvas layer, which is just named canvas layer, also has no changes whatsoever. So then it's not that. It's the viewport for sure. And we need to figure out what in the world's going on with this viewport. So maybe that's what we need to be searching for. Godot labels blurry in viewport. Only subs are on sale, not gifted. I do not know. But I suspect, given your question, that you're planning on gifting subs, which don't worry about it. Wait for there to be a real sale, I guess. Totally fine. Blurry text with label and rich text label. Set the scale to 0.05 and font size to 20. I mean, we could try this stuff. It's just weird because I don't think we should have to do any of that. If I go into the scene and I change the money label to have a low scale, you can't even change the scale though, can you? No, you can't. You'd have to change the scale of the entire parent. Very peculiar. No, thank you, Coffee. Yeah, that's very nice of you, and welcome, Prom, as a subscriber. You're the lucky one, the chosen one. What's your opinion on time tracking of developer tasks, and which derived values do you see as valuable? I think when it comes to any sort of metrics collection, that there needs to be some use of that data. So for example, a lot of people track sleep data. This doesn't have to do with development. And my big question is like, what are you doing with this? You as a person, an individual, like, oh, hey, you slept for 6 hours last night. Do you change your day as a result of that? Do you try to come up with better sleep habits or something? So I think it's kind of the same with developer tasks. Like finding out how long a task takes is potentially worthwhile, but like, what do you think you're going to do with that data? And maybe it's, oh, hey, I'll figure out which are low performing developers or which tasks are taking longer historically, and maybe we need to do something about that system. But without that analysis of the data, the collection of it kind of doesn't really mean anything. So yeah, I think generally if you're asking this question, there's some other context behind this of like, hey, my company is doing this, or I'm thinking of doing this, or, and then with that context, it'd be easier to answer the question. Just use it to justify being cranky. I mean, that in itself already could be valuable, right? Like, hey, I noticed that my sleep data is worse than normal, so maybe I should brace myself for being in a worse mood today or something. Like that could be helpful. But I think a lot of people get a lot of metrics and I don't know what they do with them necessarily. And I'm not even saying they're bad. You totally could be doing something with this stuff. It's just, yeah, what's the average person doing? So yeah, suppose you tracked your development time and you found out, hey, on Fridays I spend longer on tasks. It's like, then what do you do? Do you shift your work week so you don't work on Fridays or something? And maybe the answer is yes. Maybe it's just good to know that stuff. I open the app, go, oh, neat, and absolutely nothing else. Yeah. It can give you a better understanding of how long things take. But I think the tough thing about development is that rarely are the variables all the same. So if you think about it, there's a task, then there's usually like people on that task. There's, how much other stuff are you doing in your life at the time? There's what else is on your mind? I don't know. There's just a million things at the point where you can be given the same equivalent task at like 4 different months out of the year and do different amounts of time on all of them. What's that law? Parkinson's law, I think. This is part of it. Work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. But there's another law. Oh, I don't know how to spell this person's name. This person. Hofstadter's law. Yeah, this. Hofstadter's law. It always takes longer than you expect, even when you would take into account Hofstadter's law. So this is why I kind of think that even trying to improve your estimation doesn't work. But it's not, it's not a fact of life. It's just something that someone defined here. Yeah. I don't like shipping things until I'm proud of it. I think generally if you cut tasks down, then you can estimate them more easily. Just want to hear about your experience. We're asked to introduce tracking time, but I don't really find valuable KPIs, which do not have the danger of being used against the devs. Yeah, that's the problem with any stats, right? They can usually be manipulated in some way to show whatever conclusion you want to show. And yeah, I think as far as tracking time goes, just from the hip, I'd be like, okay, how much time you maybe spend in a given day working on something and how long each task takes. Those are the kinds of things that might help. But yeah, it's possible they're just looking to weaponize this. That data I do actually use, yeah. As a metric becomes a target, it ceases to be a good metric, yeah. Yeah, and I talked a lot about this in this video that I did. I was learning how to type on Colmac, and I think I have, how do I find this? Hang on a second. All right. Yeah, I had a spreadsheet here. This is public, so you could all get access to this too. But I tracked my average words per minute over each day that I was doing all these tests. And I talk about in the video why this was stupid, but I just was like way off track with what I was doing. It was another case of a metric becoming a target. Also, the other thing, Sherman, which I think is probably worth saying, is if your company has some sort of hostility toward developers and wants to prove a point, they will find some way to prove that point. I doubt they're going to be like, oh, wow, the data shows that we should actually be super happy with everybody. It's like there must be some kind of cost cutting thing they're trying to do, or get rid of people in the org or something like that. All right, I don't have great ideas here. I still think there's something wrong with the viewport, and I don't know what to do about this. Text blurry under sub viewport. One for pixel art that's scaled up and another higher res one on top for UI elements. I mean, this is the general idea I had, which is I use my good viewport for all the text, but then yeah, any scene that has text in it needs to then like export its text to a different scene. Yeah. You don't need sub viewports. I need them for split screen functionality. Oh boy. I see. Yeah, I haven't had to track my time, I don't think. This is just curiosity that made you go to Colmac? Yeah, pretty much. Sales and product actively hate each other. Yeah, I think developer first companies, like tech companies, basically don't have developer hostility because usually they were started by devs. Hey, Anton. Okay, so I think what we have to do here is put the text elements into the working viewport and not a sub viewport, which would be really, really tedious for some cases. And then we need to position them based on the camera. So in some cases like this is just a label. This could definitely go into a different viewport. Then we just need to position it differently. And even then, I don't even think I want this to exist anymore. So this isn't really a problem. I guess the part where there's a problem is maybe for items. And even then, maybe that's not a big deal. If I set this to 2 and I grant myself some items, unfortunately, granting items puts them on the ground, so I need to drag them up here. Like, I guess it looks bad when it's fully zoomed out. Although these are pretty small labels to begin with. And even that text looks kind of bad, fully zoomed out. What do you think about micromanagement software? Like to see what the employee is doing all the time? I really don't like that idea. I just feel like it's bad for so many reasons. For one, I think it's a violation of just sort of natural privacy that you should have. And that alone, I think, is a good enough reason. But two, I think there might be this sort of stigma around, okay, hey, I'm doing development and I need a break. Okay, I'm going to go on whatever Reddit. I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you need a mental break. I think programming is a very involved mental process. So if someone sees you and they're like, oh, that person's always on Reddit, it's like, well, is their work getting done? If their work's not getting done, then okay, I think there is actually a problem. There are certainly slackers in companies. The only maybe exception to that is if you're working on some like super ultra top secret thing, like I don't know, like government weapon systems or something. Maybe then looking at people's monitors is a necessary precaution you have to take. But I'm not actually. I think in most software it's just not needed. All right, well, I haven't really concluded anything super meaningful here. Also, this is now off the screen. I guess scaling the game does weird things when it comes to anchors. In fact, it kind of makes me wonder, how do we fix that? Like, this is set with an anchor. Anything with an anchor is messed up, e.g. the start battle button. Nowhere near it. Yeah. I wouldn't expect many people to be near that. And also, even if you were in a top secret project, I'm not sure if looking at their screen contents is important. Probably at that point, the way that people end up hacking into those systems is via social engineering and not via employees just being jerks. Although, I don't know. Yeah. I think if you're tracking your own time, that's very different too. Like, it can be reasonable to take an entire screen recording of your own screen and then figure out what you were doing throughout the day, for example. But if someone else is doing that for you, then it's different. This is strange. I'm almost kind of thinking of just sort of ignoring this bug for now. Or the blurriness, I guess. Because where is it even a problem? I want to make sure that was set to 2 when I restart this. I guess when you zoom out completely. Okay, then there is another idea we could do, which is whenever you have, let's do this. I just want to get a bunch of items over here. Whenever you have a bunch of item text, for example, that these always show at the same size regardless of your zoom level, then there'd be overlap in this case though, which I think would be a problem. But that could also work. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think this is worth worrying about too much. Conclusion for now. Move the nudge label to the right canvas layer. And actually, if we did that right off the bat, that would make this look a lot better, right? It's in the town scene right now. I have to go somewhere else. There's no script on this though. Yeah, I think we can just move this out of here. So move the nudge label to the right canvas layer. And oh my God, what is the other thing we need to do? I'm really losing my mind right now. I think it's just that. Yeah. Imagine recording your screen with audio for the whole day, then going, what do you watch? As a streamer, since everything I do is just kind of by definition recorded and broadcasted out there, it has actually come in handy every once in a while to be like, whoa, I just witnessed something, but I'm not even sure what led to that. And being able to go back and see exactly what led to it. Every once in a while, though. It's pretty rare that I need to do that. All right. Okay, so here's what I want to look at right now. I want to look at this. Because this bug is definitely a bug, and I could see this being a problem for people. And there's got to be some way to like lay out the screen differently and not have it be an issue. So it's when you change content scale factor. Godot content scale factor anchors. This is broken when you change this. I gotta go find. Stretching with anchors does not take into account the scale. It's something like that, but it's this and anchor. This doesn't show anything. Scaling artifacts when viewport is scaled up and texturing filtering is disabled. Stretch shrink messes up the UI. Not taking into account the scale of the nodes. Huh. Create another viewport and scale that instead. You need to use 2 viewports. I don't. What do we even? Yeah, what do we do for this? The issue I have. Okay, so start battle is visible. If I increase the size of this, it remains visible no matter what. Problem is when I start at a scale factor of like 4, quit the game, and then re-enter the game, then that doesn't show up in the right spot now. Oh, I think this might have to do with the minimum window size. Oh my god, that just clicked. Okay. Oh, let's go take a look if that's actually the case. If I just get rid of this. Yeah, does that work all of a sudden? Oh, I never changed the minimum size though. It might be that. Let's see. Why is this not launching? Oh, there we go. Okay, so we need to start at 4. We need to then launch the game and see if that's off now. Oh, I think it's correct now. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so it's just a problem with this. So we'll just put this code into the in-game menu whenever we change the scale factor. Where do we do this? Here. But we need to do something like we need to know whether we save this. Did I create the pixel art myself? No, I did not. I've got the credits page there. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? I want to do this anytime this thing changes, and we need to know because it changes in 2 places, right? Where do we set this to begin with? Huh. Doesn't happen here. Content scale factor. We must set this somewhere else. Here it is when we load. So we set the minimum size based on that, but this actually can't be how this works. We need to do this in 2 different places. And I guess we need the root window for this too, huh? Minimum window width times scale factor. So this is going to be times 4, which would make a minimum window width of huge. Not actually sure how that works. So originally what was happening is we were setting the minimum window width to a gigantic value. Why was that problematic? I don't actually know. But we need to set this from 2 different places. So, I just need to go make a new file. All right, let's go find the code. Source. Where might you belong? UI probably. Yeah, let's save it in here. All right, well, we have URL opener. Let's just go save that thing as local settings. Yeah. Okay. I need a set content scale factor. And we need to take in a window for that. Root window. And then a Boolean of whether we should save it. Bool save after setting equals, we don't need a default there. Okay, so that's where this is gonna go. This is root window. game constants, scale factor. Oh, right, we need the actual value, right? Float scale factor. Cool, do this too. Scale factor. Now call that thing, local settings, set. Yep, and then we need to do this from one more place, which is over here. Set it to the zoom level. Call get tree.root, which we could do up at the top of this window, root window equals that. Good. Then we don't need to call this, and we do want to save this. Okay, so we don't need this anymore, right? Change the local save data. That's only if save is true. Yeah. Okay, so if save after setting, then do that. Okay, I think it'll work now. I'm not sure what this minimum size actually is, so let's print this out. Set minimum to that. Let's go test it. So when we do have it set to 4x, it's going to be like a gigantic number, I guess. Yeah, so it already set it, right? Set minimum window size to 4,000 by 2,800. What I don't understand is, oh, did it? No, yeah. So if I expand this, I can't shrink it then. No, I can shrink it. I don't know what it thinks the window size is. Does it multiply it by 4 as well? Maybe it does. Does anything look weird? Yeah, this looks weird. This is not anchored. Oh, it's not sizing my window properly though. Oh man, I have no idea what's going on. I don't think we can do this though. I think the minimum window size does not take the scale factor into account. Let's just delete this and see what happens. So that just means that I made a mistake. I guess the window size is the same regardless of the scale. How does that break stuff though? So now you can't shrink this beneath whatever the minimum size was. What? Is that it? I guess that's it. How big is this? This is 500 by 353. Yeah, which is half of both those things. Okay. So that's why I wanted the scale factor. But what I actually want this, okay, this is very different. This needs to be what the OS reports, which is I guess what the user chooses to set this to. Yeah, which means you shouldn't be able to choose, you shouldn't choose large scale factors without knowing what it's going to do. Because it does mean that your minimum window size is going to be gigantic, which might mess things up if your resolution isn't that big. But now there won't be any problems with anchoring stuff, I guess. Yeah, the anchors are fine. And the problem is that the window is going to get gigantic whenever you resize it. So I can now shrink this. But if I make it 2x, it immediately got bigger. 3x, it immediately gets bigger. Yeah, and 4x, it gets gigantic. And on some people's monitors, this will be now impossible for them to control. So at some point then, okay, then we got to do this. We got to file an issue that you've got to explicitly accept these controls, or there's got to be a timer that reverts them when changing the scale factor of the game. Scale factor settings, we need to start a timer and auto reject those settings if you don't explicitly click a button. That way on tiny screens, clicking 4x doesn't put you into a state that you can't exit. Because the window is too big and you can't click the control to, or you can't change the setting. Yeah. because the UI is invisible. Something like that. Whatever. I gotta do that later. So I think we figured at least what's going wrong there. And what did I conclude for all this other stuff? Move the nudge label to the right canvas layer and just accept that the text won't look great for any in-world labels. If it's a deal breaker, then we have to move the label to the working canvas layer. Hang on one. All right, I gotta go get lunch soon. My wife is not working today. It's a deal breaker. Then we have to move the label to the working canvas layer. Yeah, so I want to check this in, and then that's it. I gotta call it, I think. So what do we do? We made a bunch of different canvas layers, but all for the sake of testing stuff out. And then these changes we actually want to save. So I guess delete all of this stuff. Hopefully there's nothing important in there. That one's important. What is this? Inside the in-game menu? Probably. Yeah. All right, so I want to check in this one thing. Oh, this is in-game menu. In fact, that's the only thing that changed, right? Yeah, set proper texture filter on in-game menu. Okay, this we don't want. So all of this should be good code. So far, so good. That's not good code. Just revert that. Revert that. And delete that line. Fix bug with minimum window size. So any anchored controls would be positioned incorrectly if the game started at a 4x scale. This was actually due to the minimum window size not being set correctly. Yeah, is there any other part of this message I gotta have? No. Okay, commit that. Ooh, all right, I gotta go. I gotta get lunch. But after lunch, I'll be back and I'll continue to work on this stuff. We got done with this. Yeah, so we gotta move this one label and then figure out why built-in tooltips look bad, which maybe we can't even do anything about. Maybe I just need to file a bug for that. Start filing a bug for this if that's what it takes. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back in about an hour maybe. And yeah, we'll just keep going. Take care. Have a good day.